It is a civilizational crisis. I've said this before. We are at a place, and you can see it from a mile away, we are at a place where great civilizations start to go and new civilizational models begin to gain steam, and there's a place where those two cross paths and they simply cannot coexist. We are there right now.
So shout out to Paleocrat.
Oh yeah, follow Paleocrat. He's all over this.
The woman explained how her boyfriend told her that his high fiber diet means that wiping is completely unnecessary. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing stars. They're worse than the people on the corner talking about the rapture's about to happen. It's an apocalyptic death cult. It's so demonic. I'm starting to think there's some kind of a conspiracy going on around here. Yeah, we are the wolf pack, by the way, guys. I forgot to say that. Ow! It's good to see you. It's good to see you. You guys always get me riled up, wild and zany. It's so imminent. Everything is imminent right now. 12 years, 8 years, we're all doomed. But the great animal uprising of 2020 is happening all around. They're even starting to talk, dude. I've seen movies. They're just at this point pulling diamonds out of their rear end, which would be a fascinating ability, by the way. I heard it's all about the pressure. It's gonna happen, guys. We're gonna push, and we're gonna push hard, because that is what is always done. That is what America does, which is why you can see all that destruction. And what happens, by the way? Cities get burned, windows get smashed, people get pulled out of their cars, individuals have been shot, individuals have been beat bloody on the streets, and then what ends up happening? White supremacy is the big problem in America. What? No! No, no, no! It's over, man. It is over, son. I think they're lying to us. And you know how we know this? Because they buy into everything. They spread fake news like crazy. Is this real, guys? 50-50. There are people out there that have physiques like that. You see them oftentimes in parking garages like valet drivers and stuff. If you want to be an ignoramus and try to do the fisticuffs, hit the road, Jack and Jacqueline and Karen. Oh, you're not based, dude. You're based in Pato land, as in like located. Let's look him up on Google real quick. Oh, he's on 666 Pato Street. We're just gonna have fun. There's no serious stuff going on here. Oh, they're mukbang spiders. Why? Oh, holy crap. No. No, no, no. Do not flaunt that. That is not something to be proud of. There's been a big price tag for the sins that we've committed as a nation. And we've committed some of the most grotesque sins in the history of the world. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's this dude. He's kind of a beta cock, Play-Doh rolling, bubble blowing kind of guy. Says, you better take off that effing shirt, cause it offends women. What an ignorant way of looking at the world. You're gonna be tossed to and fro by every whim and fancy of a culture that hates you. This dude thinks it's offensive to women that I don't walk around with my shirt off. It's easy to say how great we are, and I believe that we're truly great. On the other hand, we got Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. They have no connection with the past, other than to simply remind the past always how much they hate it, and to dance on the graves of the democracy of dead. The rabbits are now dressing up as Nicolas Cage. Plastic surgery, I bet, probably from that stinking cat. And you're like, you don't do plastic surgery. And he says, look at the plastic surgery I did for the rabbit. We need to repent. We need to take a knee for Jesus. Paleocrat's using that argument again. Come on, son. That's good, wholesome American stuff.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the champions, yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning to you. It is now Monday, December 21st, and oh boy, I'm pumped up. I am ready to rock today. We're going to have an amazing show. We have, of course, 3 hours of an amazing show for you, a bunch of amazing topics. It's going to be a blast. Of course, we're going to talk about funny stuff the first hour. We've got a whole bunch of really hilarious stories lined up for you. A good way to start your day, right? A good way to start your day. Second only to the fact that you are tuned in to Paleocrat Diaries with your host, the one and only Jeremiah Bannister, the OG, the Paleocrat. And so we've got the funny stories. We've got COVID stuff, including what I think, we talked last week about the need to begin doing things proactively and saying enough is enough. How are we going to do this? What's some kind of a strategy that we have so that we're not just talking about broad ideas, right? But we're talking about things that individuals can do, because we're to that point right now, right? The big ideas, we have tons of those, okay? We have tons of those. We're big idea people. But a lot of individuals are like, look, we can talk big ideas all day long, but I'm starting to feel kind of like, the cranky uncle around Thanksgiving dinner, and I'd like to not be that person. I'd like to still be able to make fun of that person a little bit and have things that we can put into place that are practical. And we're beginning to see more and more and more of those things being done all around the country, especially in places like New York, for example. We're going to talk about some things that people have done, clever and hardcore too. Hardcore stuff, but they've simply had enough. Of course, we're going to talk about politics. There's a memo going around warning for the Biden camp, saying, look, if and when you get in there, that you make it a real priority, national security level priority, to deal with, white folks and Christian nationalists, because they're a real danger. They're out there, causing all sorts of havoc. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a little bit about the vaccine, although I got to kind of tiptoe with that, I guess. And I don't throw around stuff that's I don't think crazy. Like, people might disagree and they might be like, this guy's nuts. This guy says things that are out there and everything, but I try to back it up all the time. And that way it's people can go and they can see for themselves. And I rely heavily on sources that have they rely upon empiricism. They rely upon traditional journalistic ethics, ways that you can go out and say, look, you can check this out for yourself. You can see these numbers. Here's the stats. Here's the charts. And not just from some guy with a napkin at a diner. No offense to the guy with a napkin at a diner. We're going to talk about that, including what to stay away from. What to stay away from. I rarely ever go on social media and disagree with people and post about it. But I did recently. Because there was a lot of this kind of stuff going around about a nurse who fainted. And people were throwing around some of the most wild-eyed conspiracies about it, relying on things that are super flimsy. I mean, it was crazy. And I rarely ever side, even momentarily. I rarely ever side with the fact checkers on this stuff, the ones that we all know are hyper partisan and everything. I don't side with those people. But yet on this one here, I'm like, look, until there's more than that, man, please don't go running around saying crazy stuff and heckling family and everything. I mean, it's a crazy ordeal. And I'm opposed to the mandates and that they're proposing and the way that they're using that for social engineering and telling you where you can go or where you cannot go, where you can shop or cannot shop. Those things really worry me, and I've talked about that on the show. But that's not like a blank check to just say whatever you think about whatever. And I'm like, man, you got to be careful, because I've watched people say some dumb crap, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. And so I think I've even got a screenshot of that. But before we talk about any of these things, we got to move right along. And so I want to go ahead. Let me make sure that this is going to be okay. There we go. We got a little circle here. And I used a little circle. Oh, crud. Hold on. I did this last time, too. Give me a second. I totally forgot to do this. Let's see. Restream Chat. There we go. There we go. I'll do it for the news too, because I know that I'm gonna have to do that. I have to pop that bugger up there. Pop that bugger up there. Let's see. Oh, no. There we go. Hold on. All right. I actually got to go back to the circle and change that one. I apologize for that. I was, and I gotta say this. I normally don't throw my boy under the bus, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna throw him under the bus, man. So this morning, it was both of our faults. I went to a party last night, right? And it was a hoot and holler and good time. Totally released the Kraken, by the way. And by release the Kraken, I mean opened a bottle of Kraken. Have you guys ever had the Kraken, the alcohol, the liquor? Oh my gosh. Bugger's like 97 proof or some crap. I had a little eatsy bit. I had a little eatsy. I wasn't driving though. I wasn't driving. Carpooling with some amazing people. We made sure, we had somebody. And I don't believe in getting tanked. I'm not out there getting trashed. You know what I'm saying? But I was definitely, it was a little shiny. Not gonna lie, it was a little bit shiny. And but it was delicious. Went there, got home. It was late. Had a blast, but it was late. Woke up late today and came downstairs, and I'm like scrambling around. Wait, I better hurry up. I gotta get on the air. I gotta get on right now. And then I get a message, man, from the powers that be. I get a message from the powers that be over at Holy Faith Media. And what did he say? Oh my gosh, bro, I'm late. I woke up late. And so he's freaking out too. And so he said, I'm sorry if you're going to be a little bit late. It's going to be about 10:30 by the time we even get, all of the channels lined up. And I'm like, oh yeah, dude, that's really, really breaking my heart. You're killing me over here. I was on time. I woke up early, Jonathan. I woke up early for once. And I'm like, dude, I can, I'm going to be on time. I'm going to make everybody proud. Nobody's going to make fun of me. Nobody's going to make fun and go, oh, dude, you're late, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, dude, it's going to be so great. No, that's totally a lie. But it's what happened, man. So, okay, at the beginning of every show, we let everybody know, because we're on, well, today it's only 21. I don't know what's going on with that. What happened to those other channels, Jonathan? What happened to those other channels, Home Slice? There's like 3 more, man. You better put me on there. Stat. So 21 different channels. Okay, we got a whole bunch of YouTube channels. In fact, I'll scroll up so you can kind of see here. And yeah, support the show. Make a donation at paypal.me/Paleocrat. That's PALEOCRAT. But you can see here. You can see it's got all these different YouTube channels, Facebook, Twitch, DLive. Is Periscope in there? Yeah, Periscope's in there. Apparently, we're being uploaded to Rumble and to BitChute every day too. But the live show's going across all of these different platforms. If you're on any of those platforms, it doesn't matter if you're the only person or if you're one of 100 people. Doesn't matter. You can go ahead and comment, and it shows up right here. And so I wanted to go ahead and just show you that and to engage and explain how that works. Because look, right here, for example, on YouTube, you've got TRN Slash. TRN Slash says, hi, Jeremiah. What's going on there, champ? It's good to see you, buddy. It's good to see you, man. James Marone says, good morning, Jeremiah. Yes, good morning to you, dude. A great philosopher once said, you ain't black. I've had many great philosophers tell me that. I've had many great philosophers tell me, you ain't black, Jeremiah, but you play basketball like a black guy. It's true, man. They call me white chocolate, right? They call me white chocolate, dude. Well, they used to. But white chocolate hurt his knee. trying to play with all the brothers, man, at the gym. I'm sitting there, and there was this young guy. There was this young dude. And I'd be like one of the only white guys playing. I'd get down there, and there's like, this dude, he had to be like maybe 18, 19 years old. The guy was just so smooth, man. I mean, he knew moves that were well beyond me, right? His dribbling moves and stuff. I said, this guy's been practicing probably since he was a toddler or something. Like, this guy's amazing. He was really, really good and really quick. And I'm just going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and my knee all of a sudden started to hurt pretty badly. And I said, I wasn't doing the shuffle, where you get down and you're shuffling to the side, and everything. And no, I wasn't doing that. I was looking like some really drunk dancer and, really bad night at the bar. It was not looking good, man. And my knee My knee was screaming at me for it. And so, I got a brace and stuff. And I've hurt my back too, man. I've hurt my back. I threw it out badly playing one time. But I love playing. I love playing, man. But I've heard that a lot, man. You ain't black, bro. You ain't black. Paul says, happy Monday. So excited for Wednesday. So am I, Paula. So am I. I'm going to be speaking at an amazing get-together, right? An amazing get-together put together by a bunch of amazing people. I mean, I'm serious, man. It's going to be so awesome. When the Gretsch stole Christmas, the people took it back. We're actually going to show a commercial here in just a moment for that. We're going to show it a couple times throughout the show. And a lot of people, it was cool because at the party last night, with a bunch of the people that helped to put this thing together, it was just awesome. It was awesome to get to meet them face to face. You coordinate online and stuff, but to be actually be able to meet them face to face and talk about the idea and to talk about what we've brought together and to just be so excited about it. I've seen the cups that are going to be for sale. In fact, you know what? I need the staff right now. I need the staff to grab the white box from the black bag up on I think it's on the table. I have a cup. And I think there's a t-shirt. There should be t-shirts too. Bring both of those down. I'll show them throughout the show. And I got to drink out of that cup. It's a When the Gretsch Stole Christmas cup. And it's amazing. And I'm like, I do straight to the dome right out of the cup every single day. Okay. Every single day, coffee is an essential part of the show. In fact, today I am drinking the almost perfect pecan that is put together by New Flower Coffee Roaster. Opened that gift last week, and it's amazing. It is amazing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need so much of this. And so really grateful for that gift. But I got that, got the t-shirt, and on top of that, walked away with a bottle of Kraken. In fact, I might even have them bring that down too. But, well, I might need my wife to bring that down. The bottle of Kraken, man. Walked out with some of that. I walked out with some venison cheese dip. All right, my boy Adam. It was awesome, man. Him and his wife, Bethany. Oh, speaking of Bethany, she's right below Paula. Well, good morning and happy Monday. Happy Monday to you. It was awesome to see you too, by the way. It was awesome. She said, are you recovering from your Kraken and cheese? Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes, I am. Mr. Lady Pants. Ugh, I knew it, man. I knew it. You couldn't find the shirts. No, come on. You guys put on that Sherlock Holmes hat, man. And look around the house for that. You gotta do it. It's okay, but I'll show you this though. I'll show everybody this real quick. Here, check this out. This is a lot of fun, man. And by the way, good morning, everybody. Good morning. All right, check this out. Let's see here. Oh, sorry. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. And I guess they're going to even get a bigger mug because there's a bunch of words on here. It says, when the Gretsch stole Christmas, the people took it back. State Capitol 2020. It's going to be December 23rd. It's going to be December 23rd from 4 to 7 p.m. And there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff. You'll see all of the details in the commercial coming up here in just a moment. Oh, you found the shirt. Yeah. All right, here we go. Let's see. Let's see here. All right. So I'll show you the shirt too. Check this out. Check this out. Let's see here. Same thing. Look at that. Just great shirt, man. Just a great shirt. And all that stuff's going to be available. I even walked away with a calendar. I walked away with a calendar signed by the ladies who are going to be the, fancy, very beautiful elves. Santa's got a lot of good, amazing, gorgeous helpers this year. It's true. And my boy Mike, he gave me a calendar. And the calendar's is fantastic. Not going to show it on here, though. Not gonna be, although in fairness, my wife, she had one of those, what's the name of that band? Is it BTS? What the heck is that? It's the K-pop band, right? It's totally ridiculous. I look at it, I'm like, dude, this is so effeminate, man. I don't know about that crap. At least this one is, sticking true to traditional gender roles. Let's put it this way. I'm going to have all these K-stands that are like, dude, did you just say that band is effeminate? I'll be like, yes, dude. Yes, they're laying together, sprawled all over each other in a bed of flowers, dude. Yes, I am saying that. Okay? Goodness gracious alive, man. Goodness gracious alive. And that says, oh, yes, I love you, Mai. Yeah, morning, son. Have a fun and great show today. Thank you very much. I hope everything's going well for you. I love you like crazy. Always have, always will. Love my mom. Big fan of my mother. Let's see here. Hey, what's the situation over in the States? Is there reasonable hope that Donald Trump can continue as president? Yes. Yes, but, it's one of these things where, if people got to be a little bit realistic about the situation and say that it seems as though the lanes whereby that's possible have gotten smaller. And it's gotten to a point, in part, I don't know if it is their fault. They weren't very prepared even beforehand for this, in my opinion. I've been saying that. I'm like, dude, we were prepared here, weren't we, guys? We talked about the steal. We talked about shut down D.C. We talked about Detroit leaks. We talked about all of these different problems. We talked about the color revolution. We did that for weeks before the election. Right? We even went on another show after the election to talk about it. Say, look, people were kind of catching up on it. Sadly, there's a lot of people even inside Trump's circle that betray him. And that's just true. And a part of that, I think that Donald Trump has many strengths and he also has some weaknesses. We talked about it last week. I think some of those weaknesses were to surround himself by a bunch of yellow-bellied chicken liver people. And I'm serious about that. I'm serious about that. And saying, playing the game where it's like, well, okay, I'm the leader of the Republican Party that wanted me off of the debate stage. How about I bring some of those people who supported those people and who ran that very party and bring them to determine who can be in and who can be out of my administration? Yeah, man, no way. No way. And so there's a lot of problems with that. And I don't know. It's kind of weird. We're seeing all these really strange, really, really strange, kind of mysterious tweets, for example, even by his social media guy that runs social media. Was it Dan? And so you've got posts like that. Recently, you shared one. In fact, I think I've got it lined up here today, where he's looking at a picture of Abraham Lincoln. That sends some signals, right? and Churchill. He's looking at a portrait of Churchill, and then he's looking really tough, and he's making the call. And you say, well, what is this? These are war presidents, man. These are war presidents. These are, in fact, one of them, Civil War. And so it's one of those things. What's that all about? Or the picture inside of the room where it was this really mysterious meeting in the Oval Office. To this day, we don't know exactly what that was all about. And so they're sending these things out. But that's, if there's nothing behind that, then it's shallow. And unless people know what's behind that, there's a lot of individuals that are they've either given up or they're just simply, they're demotivated. They're hopeful but demotivated. And it's one of those things, man. And so, I keep my hopes up. And at the same time, I've never pinned my hopes on chariots and horsemen. And I advise all the listeners, never do that. Never put your hope in a chariot or a horseman. Don't do it. And realize that, somebody asked me, like, well, what's going to happen, if Trump's not president, what's going to happen to the movement and stuff? And I'm like, do you think that this movement is like he started it? Like he might have been a flashpoint that caused this thing to visually people to be coming out of the shadows, right? Coming out of every nook and cranny, right? All over the place. But they came not because he said something new, but because he said something that echoed the sentiments that they'd had, in fact, for a very, very long time. And so it's the way to do it, by the way. Trump is a pro-choice Jew. I have no idea what you're talking about. I think that's one of the dumbest things maybe that somebody has said in a minute. In fact, I won't even go into great detail about it other than to say I find it interesting, and you have to add a layer of complexity to that conspiracy. If you bring up, because some people say that about LGBT stuff, and you go, you have to up the conspiracy level, right? Which makes it, the more complex a claim is, the more evidence you're actually going to have of this, right? It makes the claim actually harder to do when if you're adding complexity. And so if you say, well, okay, he's pro-choice, and yet all of the pro-choice groups hate his guts. And all the pro-choice groups are freaking out, and they're writing things about how he's made their lives miserable and how he's made it tough, and they're making fanatical commercials. You'd have to say that he's in it. He's colluding with the Lincoln Project. He's colluding, and that he's a Jew. You know, good luck with that, guys. Good luck with that one. You know, I mean, maybe you've got that flimsy definition of what that means. I don't play Mr. Potato Head with words, and I don't like to play with silly putty with words and stuff. So I really don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what you mean. Maybe you can flesh that out a little bit more. To say what that is. I mean, I don't know, you know. But no, I think that's garbage. I talked about it on Meaning of Catholic a couple days. It was the week leading up to the election. They had me on there, and I'm talking about Donald Trump, and it was just rapid fire. I mean, you know, Tim Flanders just rapid fire, boom, 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 talking about question after question after question. And some of it came up with this, and so I went down the list, and I said, it's amazing, man. It's amazing. And it's funny because a lot of the conservative people that I knew that talked that way, and they're like, dude, it's really hardcore pro-choice. I know that all these pro-life groups and all the groups that we've liked for a long time, they have long lists of accomplishments and stuff that's really caused problems. And the abortion groups agree that these things are really problematic for them, and that they're having to rely more heavily on money from Hollywood and elsewhere, and from these donations because money is being pulled left and right. I know that's true, that this is happening, but I think deep down inside it's the case, and so I'm going to go ahead and vote for the American Solidarity Party or some crap. And it's like, oh, good Lord. So, you know, you have to deal with it. You got to deal with that stuff, man. Yeah, and the idea that it's not likely that he'll continue as president, but he's not quitting, and it's fair. I think it's fair to say. See, he could win his cases legally, but there's a lot of cowardice amongst politicians and judges. And by the way, that includes the Supreme Court. It includes the Supreme Court, man. No, totally. Let's see here. Clay says, good morning, Jeremiah. I hope you have a great day. Yes, same to you, man. Same to you. CJ, well, CJ, man. You guys had me cracking up last night. By the way, you're an awesome guy, CJ. It was an honor, man. It was an honor to get to meet you. And thank you, by the way, for what you said about the commercial that we did. You know, it really meant a lot. And to play that and everything, I'm really grateful to have been able to meet you face to face, have a conversation with you, you know, see the place. It was a lot of fun, man. So very, very grateful for that. Yes. And yeah, thank you. You said I rock. Yes. Let's see. Trump wants you vaccinated. Oh, it's okay. Yes. Yes, I'm quite positive that's the case, in fact. Quite positive that's the case. And I don't know, do you think, by the way, it's the same person talking about being pro-choice and stuff, and that he's really, really against, you know, pro-life people. He's a super secret guy on that. And he's so good at it that he's even fooling the pro-choice people. he's like so good at it that their hair's on fire and they're all ticked off and all of them are going out and they're voting for Biden. If he was like this hardcore pro-choice guy, they'd love him, man. I mean, let's be honest about it. Well, they wouldn't love him. They wouldn't love him. But you'd at least have more to be like, look, he's actually done a really good job for us. He's really supporting the cause. You know, but the vaccination thing, yeah, no doubt about it. Most people, you know, when it comes to that issue, and especially as a president, the idea that he would come out against it, you know, terribly unlikely. And you're allowed to have disagreements, but I don't know. I mean, maybe you know some people who, on the one hand, they you know, maybe they agree with every single thing Trump says and does, and it doesn't matter. He could say something and the next day change his mind. I've got plenty of disagreements. I've talked about those on shows too. I have a nuanced take, man. I'm not some kind of cultist. I have disagreements, man. I do my homework, champ. I do my homework. Yeah. Sometimes maybe even on certain topics more than Donald Trump, to be quite frank. That's just true. Let's see here. All righty. We're going to move on, guys. So look, but the whole point of this was simply to say that you can comment no matter where you are. You can be on Facebook, because there's a lot of these, by the way. There's a whole bunch of these from different places. I know it just shows maybe the Facebook symbol and the YouTube symbol, but there's many different streams. I think, you know, at least I think 6 or 7 YouTube streams, equal amount on Facebook. And so it doesn't matter where you are on any of those things. You comment, it goes right here, and we can see it. You know. Let's see here. I'll do a couple more. I'll do a couple more here, man. Let's see here. What are the 10 days of darkness? Is it 10 days or is it what's the number of that? It has to do with the prophecy. I'm not apocalyptic, okay? I'm not apocalyptic, and I don't play that game if for no other reason. It's kind of the same standard I have when I talk about any story at all. It's kind of this idea that, you know, you're going to have this remarkably dark period. Does it even involve the actual sun, right? Does it involve, is it darkness in not just a spiritual way, but in a physical way? You know, give me some links about it, guys. But I don't follow too much of it. You must forgive me. You must forgive me. People are like, you haven't heard of the prophecy yet? I'm like, no. Or I have, and I've heard a little bit about it. I had a buddy who called me a while back, and he was like, you know, man, dude, they're talking about it's going to happen before the election. It didn't. You know, and so you're like, well, okay, I guess maybe I missed it, but I'm like, look, maybe it's a fault of mine that I grew up in a Pentecostal charismatic home and church, and so charismatic home, but we went to Pentecostal churches by and large, you know, and so I grew up hearing and being surrounded by people who made predictions about the end of the world, okay, and I came from churches that if you go back almost 200 years, 190 years, okay, right now, 190 years that they've been making predictions, and that people have, and that's fine, by the way. You prophesy that? Okay, I got you, I hear you. But when people use that and they start, you know, looking in the newspapers, and they start opening up the newspapers or turning on the news, and they're like, oh my gosh, don't you see the patterns? I'm like, shut it off, John Nash. You know, because I've seen too many John Nashes. I've seen too many people who sit there and they say, it's going to happen now. It's going to happen now. It's going to happen soon. It's going to happen soon. And to be quite frank with you, a lot of these people make Christianity look freaking stupid. It's like the wandering Jew. The idea that for 2,000 years, there have been Jewish people walking around who didn't die, who were around at the time of Jesus, and that person didn't die. And they say, well, why would you say that? Because otherwise, Jesus looks like a fool. And that's ridiculous, because Jesus said, many of you here will not taste death until all of these things, and these are predictions, take place. Many of you talking to people there, talking to his disciples, you won't go through all the cities of Jerusalem and Judea. You're not going to be going around all over the place and going through all of them before all of these things take place. You have John the Revelator saying these things are soon to take place. When you see them, when you see these things, you will know. These were letters to real people. Letters to real people. Imagine if you got that letter and 2,000 years later, soon isn't soon anymore. It's unbelievable. And so I'm not going off here against the days of darkness necessarily. Whatever, but I'm saying that's my general disposition. My general disposition is take off the John Nash glasses. Don't think that you're some, superhero because you got a newspaper and a Bible, and you can connect dots. Like, please don't do that. I'm sorry to be a douchebag about that, but it's just true, man. It's just true. And I'm like, look, I have said too many things over the years that have been prophetic, that you can say, look, I've talked about the way things will turn out for a very long time, and over and over and over, this ends up happening. But you're not going to hear anything from me where I'm coming out with some King James language coming out of my mouth, some Shakespearean English, doing a thus saith the Lord and talking about the apocalypse upon us. And if it happens, if it is, it is. If it's not, you end up looking like a goon. And you know how many people I know that said that the end times was taking place in the 80s? Do you know how many people I know? Do you know how many people I know, Catholic and Protestant alike, who said that it was John Paul II? I'm not even joking about that, by the way. I know people in the trad, in the real hardcore trad stuff, man. Some of the stuff that they were like, John Paul II. You know what they did, man? They took down videos. They took down videos. And it's crazy. And it's like, dude, if you take down videos, you know what? Why don't you do what Gary North did? Gary North was one of those guys that said Y2K was the end of the world. All my computer friends, man, they worked on computers for banks and for businesses. Major corporations were like, Jeremiah, there's no planes are going to be falling out of the sky, homeboy. People sold books. People sold their work for super cheap, man. We're talking like normally it'd be, let's say, $20 for a book back then. Hardcover, something like that, man, selling them for like a quarter or 50 cents because they're trying to build up all of their ammunition and oil reserves at their home. Stacking up tons of food. You know what? They're still eating that astronaut food. Because it never happened. And by the way, if people make predictions like that, and they're out there telling you that kind of stuff, and that stuff doesn't happen, get them out of there. Do not listen to them again. Don't, in fact, put them on some kind of a thing for years before they have the nerve to come back. I'm not even kidding. Not even kidding. It brings disgrace. It brings disgrace to movements. It brings disgrace to the scriptures. It brings disgrace to Jesus Christ. Don't let them come back. If they have falsely prophesied, I know people that did it around 9/11. I knew people that did it. I know people who said that it was the gates over in Iraq, in Babylon. I know people who said that it was Russia. I know people who said it was China. I know people who said all these different things. Oh, the temple's coming back. They're going to rebuild the temple. Did you see the red heifer? Apart from the fact that that is uber blasphemous. Blasphemous, by the way. Aside from that, makes us look like fools. Makes us look like fools. Tom says, great to meet you last night. Love the scarf. Dude, thank you, man. This is my Doctor Who scarf. Yeah, it's like, is it 12, 13 feet long? Yes, man. Yes. So very, very excited. So, okay. So, all right, man. Oh. Yeah, very, very, very grateful for all of you. All right, we're moving on, guys. We got a lot to talk about. Make sure, of course, you can go to paleocratdiaries.com. If you see this at the very, very, very top, that is the picture of me and my daughter Samantha before she died about 4 years ago. An amazing girl. In fact, her mottos have become the core of the show here. Never give up, keep on smiling, and adding to that momentum mori, the idea that you will one day die. You must remember your death to give your best all the time. Make sure you can go there. You can become a subscriber. In fact, you can scroll down. You can see all these different posts that we've got, and right at the bottom, you can subscribe, enter your email. Oh, that's kind of nice. Look at that. I like that. Goes green. Yeah. All right. You can go and do that. Of course, you can contact us. It's got our contact information. You can see right over there. I'm going to mention Ailey throughout the show. If I ever say Ailey, that is my mega hot half Korean wife. You can see over on the far right of the picture. Let's see here. Then we've got, oh yeah, same thing. Okay, sorry about that. If you'd like to help out, you'd like to be part of the show and part of this group, become a bona fide member of the Paleonaughty, $5 on a recurring basis. That's a monthly thing. And, you know, every little bit helps. And 100% of what we earn here, whether it's through paypal.me/Paleocrat, whether it's through the $5 donation, some people actually have sent, and we're really grateful for it, by the way. Some of the listeners this month have been extraordinarily charitable, which is, it's even more amazing because, you know, we know that they're already, a lot of them, you know, they may be struggling with work, and that's why we don't push it very much, and we don't want to make it expensive, and we say every little bit helps, and that includes shares and likes and comments. We don't emphasize this, you know, and so the thing is that it is what helps, and it helps because it helps us to continue the education of our children at Sacred Heart Academy. We used to show a commercial of that, but I would always get copyright claims. It was never a strike, you know, so they wouldn't remove it. But there was no way to monetize it at all. And for a while, I said, that's fine, but I don't want to do that every show. And so periodically, we'll do that. And I'd like to bring in the headmaster sometime of the school to talk about the history of the school and the philosophy that they have as a classical education Catholic school, the centrality of the gospel and the mass in their day, the way they start off their day. So we're going to show a lot more of that. We're going to even have the kids come down and do some videos where they're even doing their prayers and stuff in Latin. Maybe we will even make a family rosary video so that you can pray the rosary along with us and turn it on anytime you want. We can go through the different ones, and we'll have the kids, the whole family, recite it and everything. And so it'll be really, really fun, really charming. All right. And lastly, if you'd like to connect with us over, interviews, public speaking, all of that stuff is available, and you can find that at paleocratdiaries.com. All righty. All right, guys. We're going to have a lot of fun, man. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Let me get off here. Okay, maybe I should. I'll keep this circle screen on here for a minute, right? But before we even move on, let me get back into studio for a second. Make sure that the movie capture. Okay, here we go. Transition over there. Studio mode off. All right. So here's the thing. I said we're gonna show this commercial before we even move on. So make sure you get your coffee ready and everything else. We're going to have a really great time. We're going to get into the funny stories. But before we do, I want to share the video that we made, the commercial that we made. The family put it together. It was a whole bunch of fun. In fact, it was awesome because we shared it on Friday after we shared it on the show. Then after the show, we added certain details at the end for the people who've helped put it together. You'll see Paleocrat Diaries on there. You will see it. And you have to, right? Because Team Tiny Dancer, my family. The Team Tiny Dancer family put it together. The kids helped me put it together. I wrote it, directed it. My wife worked on, she did the camera portions of it and everything else. And the kids, they were there. They did the acting. And then they even helped later on pick out some of the music, pick out some of the sound effects. And they added some ideas about, well, maybe we could do this or maybe we could do that. And so it was really a family project. So we put it together. But I shared it, right? And later that day, I shared it on Twitter, shared it on Facebook, shared it on YouTube. We had over 15,000 views on that within 24 hours. We had 15,000 views. It was like, I forget how many hundreds of shares. It was amazing. And the thing is that on Twitter, when I shared it on Twitter, within a couple hours, I wrote on Twitter, the tweet said something along the lines of, in fact, I'm just going to show you right now. Let's go to Twitter. Hold on. Twitter.com. Here we go. You have to see it. You got to see it. All right, here. Oh, no. I got to get back to this other screen. So sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. So, okay, right there's my Twitter. Again, it made it easy. You can tell by the pictures there. But let me see. Oh, dang, son, look at this. Wow. That's me. This is weird, man. Hey, this looks like a show we could watch. So let's watch this together. Okay, so here we go. So I shared this thing. I'm so proud of my kids. They worked really hard on this, even assisting with the creative and absurd aspects of writing and editing. And to think all they asked for was an evening of Papa John's. #Christmas, #Gretchen Whitmer, #funny video. So you go to it, and look at this. Oh, first of all, Ben, love you, Ben, but look at that. Papa John's. Papa John said, well deserved. And I'm like, holy cow, bro. Holy cow. So I wrote, the moment my kids realized that, and I replied to Papa John's. Oh, no, I did not. I think I added it later. I meant to tag them. I don't know why that didn't tag. Anyway, the moment my kids realized Papa John's watched their video, thank you so much, Papa John's. You made our night twice this week. And so, by the way, look at that picture. Look at that gene pool right there. Oh man, dude. Right, and look at little Wolfie, dude. Look at his face. I gotta zoom in on this bugger. I gotta zoom in on. Whoa, that's really zoomed in, isn't it? See, look at his face. Look at this little guy down in the bottom, man. You got little Louie over the shoulder. You got Ambrose, Athanasius, Teresa, the whole gang right there. You can see our mantle. You can see some of the icons that we have up there. Many thanks to my sister, by the way. And my sister's going to be on the show. I talked to her about it. We're going to talk about cancer. and about the way that she's not only treated treatment, right, and the kind of trouble she has seen from the people in the United States and doctors and everything else, but also to talk about how it's impacted her views about life and death. And so it's about you for that one, you're going to need some tissues. It's just going to happen. But I reached out to her and I told her, I said, I really want to have her on to talk about it. Now, she asked that I would not talk about money because her husband lost his job recently. And in fact, probably, quite likely, having to do with the insurance cost because it's costing a lot right now. And so the thing is that right before Christmas, I mean, it was wicked bad. Let's put it this way. Wicked bad. Not happy at all, by the way, with that group that did that. And I'll talk more about that. I want to get more details. But she doesn't want to talk about the money thing because she doesn't like doing that. And I said, that's fine. I said, I will. And she goes, well, now when I'm on the show, I said, well, I'll wait till you're done. But the idea that I'm going to have you on the show and we're going to talk about this and I'm not going to tell the wolf pack and the listeners, I'm not going to tell them about how they can support you, you're out of your mind. You know, but she makes sure, you know, she gives us some of the best the icons and stuff like that. We've got a amazing nativity scene up there. Got an amazing nativity scene on the mantle given to us by someone who played a significant role in our return to the Catholic Church. It's Ambrose's godmother, Mary Jo. So, all right. So anyway, but I needed to tell you because this all spawned from the video. This all spawned from the video, and you can see this video. You can go, you know, anywhere else and share it on Facebook, on Twitter. It's not on Instagram. I haven't put it on Instagram, but it's on YouTube. So you can find it all over the place. I should just share it today. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share it today on Paleocratdiaries.com. And that way people can just go there and they can find the different links to it and share from those different sources. So, all right. So with no further ado, here we go. Here is the commercial that we've got and I'm hoping this is the one with the ending. I'm hoping that it is. Is it? If it's not, I'll have to download it in the meantime and then go ahead and do that. We'll see if it is. We'll see if it is here. Because I don't know if it is or not. Okay, we'll find out. Here we go. Oh no. Well, that's not good. Okay, hold on. I think that I removed it. So hold on. I got to get the new one up here. Okay, 720. I think this would be the one.
Join us at the Lansing Capitol on December 23rd for the Michigan Patriot Council's Christmas Extravaganza.
Okay. Going to make sure that we can just go ahead and have the entire thing in. And again, I apologize for that, by the way. I apologize for that. I thought I had that all in there good. Nice and fancy. So here we go. Here's the commercial that Team Tiny Dancer and Paleocrat Diaries put together for the amazing event that we are going to have on December 23rd from 4 to 7 in Lansing, Michigan. Here we go.
Join us at the Lansing Capitol on December 23rd for the Michigan Patriot.
I take that back. That's the short one. This is terrible. What the heck, dude? What the heck is going on with this? Let's see, downloads. Please tell me that it's downloaded on here. That's going to drive me bonker town. That's going to drive me nuts. Or did it get removed? Not entirely. Okay, here we go. When the Grudge stole Christmas, you take it back, MP4. I believe this would be it. I believe that this would be the one. Give me 1 second. I just got to see the date on it. And again, I truly, sincerely apologize. Okay, this one was done 4:20 p.m. on the 18th. Okay, this one was done 4:17. So yeah, I believe this would be the one right here. When the Grudge stole Christmas, 4:20. And then what's this one here? 4:52. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to drop this one in. What you guys?
Someone at school told us the grudge stole Christmas.
Who told you that?
Ken and Karen.
Ken and Karen. Why are you guys even listening to them? Look, let's listen. The Gretsch cannot steal Christmas.
But the grudge won't even let us go to restaurants.
That is totally tyrannical, but
The big grudge won't let us play sports or nothing.
that is wicked heinous. Except that...
The grudge won't let us go to the roller rink.
Ugh.
What are we going to do for Christmas?
That's what I've been trying to tell you.
Join us at the Lansing Capitol on December 23rd for the Michigan Patriot Council's Christmas Extravaganza. There'll be caroling, music, an award ceremony, even a live nativity scene. And we'll be gathering donations for veterans and those less fortunate this holiday season. The family-friendly fun begins at 4 p.m., topped off with a patriotic parade from 6 to 7. So tell your friends and family, your classmates and coworkers, that when the Gretsch stole Christmas, it was the people who took it back. Merry Christmas.
Will Santa be there?
Santa? Of course Santa's gonna be there. In fact, I have heard a rumor that there's gonna be some super hot, I mean, very fancy elves.
Yay!
Oh my gosh, dude. Ah. See, I told you the Gretsch couldn't steal Christmas. Not from baby Jesus.
The Christmas Extravaganza is brought to you by Michigan Patriot Hub, American Patriot Council, Stand Up Michigan, Republican Women's Federation of Michigan, Paleocrat Diaries, and Michigan citizens just like you. All right, everybody. I hate to be such a downer about something here, but during the video, Ailey came down and told us that police have blocked off our road because there were gunshots on our street, and that they believe that it was a drive-by. And I don't know I know no more details about it other than that. I can assure you that the kids are fine right now. But this is frightening. We didn't have this, in fact, for a long time. I was just talking to somebody yesterday about it, that we've, our part of town, we've never had these issues, not until the summer. Not until the summer. And once that summer happened, and once, and to be honest, once the stuff about George Floyd happened, and you started seeing the crazy going on in our town, and you started seeing the crazy even going on with the police taking the knee like there's some kind of cultist, all of a sudden you started seeing all over the map, all across the city, you started seeing serious problems. It's never been close to home until now. So please pray for my family. I'm going to be making a phone call to the police department today. I am. I'm going to make a phone call to the police department. Now, in fairness, they came around one time, when stuff started getting bad, and they were going door to door and they were asking, what are things that you want to see happen? Things that concern you, things going on, because they knew that it was getting ugly all around town. They were burning, cars. What, were cars on fire? There were cars on fire. There were businesses that were bashed in and everything else. And you know what? That's what happens, by the way. You allow that crap to go on, you start to get this idea in your mind that that's perfectly fine, and you allow people to press false narratives about your own department, about your own city, blaming systemic issues that, by the way, statistically are just freaking phony baloney. You allow that to happen? Well, guess what? You got a bunch of people, some low IQ crap, some violent people who maybe in fairness, you've got individuals who it's like, well, look, I see you've had a rough time in your life. I see that maybe your dad hasn't been around. I get that. But you drive down my street and you've got yourself some kind of gun shooting at somebody. I don't know who those people are. Go home, man. Take a knee for Jesus Christ, you scumbag. You know how many, dude, sorry about that, guys. Maybe that's not the best witnessing tool to tell somebody, get on your knees for Christ, scumbag. But the truth is, you know what? You're obviously such a wicked sinner that you're willing to drive down a street and just unload a bunch of bullets into the air going at somebody's stinking house. You murderous maniac. Screw you, dude. Screw you. And screw the chief of police who sat there and took a knee and allowed this crap to happen. Screw him. We need people who will stand up to this tyranny and stand up to this anarchy and stand up to this inherently racist movement called Black Lives Matter and all the insanity of critical race theory that fuels this crap. He should have, instead of taking a knee, and by the way, he didn't just take a knee. What happened with the police officer, you can go watch the video. He not only got on his knee, raising his hand, and for how long was it, man? How long was it? What do they say? Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. For like 7 or 8 minutes straight. I'm like, dude, this is a cult, bro. This is a cult, a violent, crazy, lunatic, low IQ cult. Fueling violence. Redefining violence. And then redefining how we protect ourselves from violence. Pray for my family. And pray for me because I've had it. Pray for me because I've just stinking had it. Just done, dude. Just done. All right here. Man, I'm sorry about that, guys. And you know what? I may as well... I don't know what's in the comment thread right now about this. I honestly don't. I have no idea what is in the comment thread about this. I'm gonna go to the bottom on a different screen. Yeah, Will Baker says, check out your show. Hope you guys remain safe from drive-bys. That is the thank you, by the way. That's also the saddest thing that I've ever maybe had to say. One of the saddest things I've ever had to read on this. But I'm grateful for that. And I'm glad, Will. I'm glad you're listening to the show. James says, George Floyd got a golden casket. They didn't even give Jesus that, and he sacrificed way more. You know what? George Floyd, you say, man, I don't wish ill on anybody. I wish, for example, here's what I wish. I wish that he would have gotten his life together. I wish that he wasn't addicted to drugs. I wish that he wasn't driving around totally blown out of his mind. I wish that he would take seriously his physical health and say, man, I've obviously had issues with not just drugs, but with not being able to breathe. And I wish that, like the other people in his car, he just would have listened. The others did. The others did. Good example. And you know what? They ain't dead. And they're better people, by the way. Better people. It's stunning. Zing Blue says, good morning, Wolfpack. Yeah, I'm really grateful for that, by the way. And thank you, too, also, for the prayers. Paula says she's going to be praying the rosary for your sister and our family. I'm really grateful for that. Let's see. All right, we'll talk more about some of these comments later. We're going to talk more about it later. So, all right, we're back to this. Oh no, I think I got to do the circle for this one. I've been told I got to do the circle. So, okay, so let's see here. Is that as big as it gets? Okay, all right. Big as it gets. There we go. Oh, so it's quiet. All right. So you got a girl. She's bending over. Oh, she's being good. Going, picking up little doggy doo, right? Making sure. By the way, don't you hate it when people do that? When they, they're walking the dog. The little dog ends up getting on your property and poops all over the place, and they don't pick it up. They just walk off, and you're like, bro, you need to get back here like right now, and you need to clean up that dookie. I don't want to be cleaning up your dog's crap in my yard. But what? Okay, so is this a PSA for good behavior? Like, what the heck's going on with this? Oh, no. It's a mask. Dude, it's a mask. I'm thinking it's a bag. I can't even think about it. Well, hold on. Give me a second. I can't even think. Why would you guys do this to me? Some things are better left, like, not being recorded. Like, don't. And if it's recorded, dude, please do not share this with me. Oh my gosh, why? And right out of the gate, I'm like, oh, there's gonna be some funny stories. We're gonna have a happy, fun time, everybody. Family fun time, yay! And you show me a picture of a lady that is picking up some crap with her mask, looking around, taking a sniff and putting it. No! No! Oh, don't do that anymore. Never. Don't do this anymore to me. Oh, I know you're gonna do it. You guys are sick, man. You guys are messed up, dude. You guys are really, really, really messed up. I don't even know how to... What am I gonna do with you guys? What am I gonna do with you guys? It's wicked bad. Okay. Is there ever an excuse for this? Ever? I say no. I say no. You tell me. You tell me. Is there any excuse for this? All right, let's see here. What's this one? Is that going to be any bigger? Oh, come on. No. That's it? Are you serious? Oh, yeah, this is so stupid. Wow. This is super small. What is this anyway? And why won't that get any bigger, dude? Oh, okay. Ooh, there we go. That's better. That's better. All right. Well, at least we can see it now. I'm like, dude, what the heck? What the heck is going on with this? So, okay, here we go. Here we go. So, what's going on? Oh, you got it. Okay, so you got a drone. What is this? One of those where the drone's dropping off a package or whatever, dropping off some food, stuff like that. Okay, here we go. This is fascinating. Let's see. Oh! Oh my gosh, dude. That did not go well. Oh, yeah, dude. That is unbelievable. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine, like, yeah, man, I've got a drone coming up to my house to bring me some Chinese food. And it comes up there and it's like, it just attacks you. It attacks you. Can you sue, by the way? Could you sue for that? I mean, you got to wonder what kind of damage that caused. I mean, it got it right in the dome, dude. Right in the skull. All right. Let's see here. Oh, these are, well, okay. Okay, and this one's quiet. It's got two cats. Oh, so the cats are popping through the little hole. Yes, dude. Oh, they're out, dude. Get away. Go, run. Oh, I've been told I can't play the music on that one. Are you serious? I can't play the music for copyright problems? You know, I remember back in the day, man, they weren't so strict about it. You could play like 10 seconds. You play like 10 seconds or so, man. I only had one video ever where they took the audio out. I think it was an Evanescence song. And they came after me on it. But I think it was more than 10 seconds. I think I had it on for like 15 or 20 seconds. But everything else, just never. To this day, none of those videos have been removed. None of those videos get copyright problems on it. There's a bunch of really popular bands and songs. That's adorable, though. That's adorable. I would like more, by the way. I would like more videos of little kittens than I would of dogs taking a dump and having the owner pick it up with a mask and then put the mask on the face. I don't want those. Do not send me those. No more dog poop mask things. No more snakes. No more any of that, okay? No more mukbang and spiders. No more of that. I don't want anything to do with it, guys. Don't want nothing to do with that. Oh, yeah, okay. We're going to. All right. Let's see. Windsurfer. Windsurfer's 36-foot wave earns her a Guinness World Record. Okay. We talk a lot about the Guinness book, right? We talk about it a lot because we got that guy, David Rush. And David Rush is, I think he broke, does he hold the Guinness Book of World Records for the most Guinness Book of World Records? I think he's got like 150 or something like that. We talk about that guy. We bust his chops, you know. We're on to him. We know what the scheme is about, the fame and the fortune. And probably all the ladies. I mean, you know, it's kind of a thing. You know, but the thing is we kind of mock it a little bit and say, is that really worthy of a Guinness Book record? I mean, is it really at that point something that's noteworthy? But having a world record for windsurfing the tallest wave, that one, yeah, dude, I'd give that. A French windsurfer who caught a 36-foot wave in Hawaii was awarded a Guinness World Record for the largest wave windsurfed by a woman. It was a one taller than that? Was there one even taller? No, that's the end of that. So, all right, we got to see this, guys.
In a male-dominated sport, one woman has achieved the Guinness World Record for windsurfing the tallest wave. If you want to freak out, take a look at some of these pictures. All she needed to document it was a wave and a photographer to capture it. Fox 10 photojournalist
Okay, so hold
Joe
on. We
Tillman
got
has the story tonight.
Let me skip ahead. We're going to see this wave here. All right, let's see.
Wave, there's so much fear by a woman on that wave. There's swallow me and injure me, or potentially even worse,
Holy
like drown
cow.
me. So there's so
Would you
much
ever do
in
that,
my
by
head,
the way?
but I can't let myself go into that panic
Holy
phase,
cow.
and I have to stay focused on what I'm doing. I feel a deep sense of peace when I'm on those waves, even.
Yeah, dude, no way. No way, dude. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, no, you look really great doing that. And they're like, would you like to try it? I'm like, no. I'm just saying that it looks great when you do it. I ain't going out there, man. I ain't going out there. I'm not a big fan of that anyway. I like the beach. I'll be like, oh yeah, man, I'll hang out at the beach with you guys. We'll have a really good time. And they're like, dude, come on in the ocean. It's good. And I'm like, no, man, I have a show where we show, videos of stuff. I've seen a lot of sharks, dude. And I saw that documentary, dude, called Jaws. That's really intense, man. Really intense. Most recurring dream of my life. Most recurring nightmare. I have two of them. One of them is being on a Space Needle or is in a house where there's nowhere to hide from a tornado, right? But the Space Needle has been a bunch of times. You're seeing this a tornado coming, and you're like, oh my gosh, dude, it's coming right at us, and you're all freaked out, afraid the thing's gonna fall, and it starts falling, and then I wake up, wake up. But the other one, man, is being in this room. It's all dirt. The whole room. It's like an underground cell surrounded by dirt. It's got a little faucet, right? Like you have for the hose outside your house. It's got a door with some bars. It's obvious that I'm a prisoner. It's got a piano. Not sure exactly what the symbolism is of that. But, you got the piano and the broken kind of chair that goes with it. You can't use it. You're not going to play this piano. It's done. It's quite obviously has tons of water damage. And these bad guys come in and turn on the water and walk out, and you're like, what the heck's this water all about? And all of a sudden it keeps getting higher and higher and higher, and next thing you know, there's a shark. And I said, oh yeah, okay, well, that's how reality works. I'm not going in the ocean. It's an obvious conclusion, right? An obvious conclusion. All right. 10 best last minute Christmas gifts. All right, now this is actually useful. This here's useful, guys. And so, for those of you who celebrate Christmas, for those of you who do, what do you believe are the best last minute Christmas gifts? Mine are ones that you may find at the liquor store or something. You know what I mean? Like the ones that are like in the front. It's like a mullet where it's business in the front, party in the back, and the business in the front might be, let's say candy, and you've got, pickled pig's feet, so like that, the party time, and all that. And so you have a really good time up in the front, and then you go to the back and it's got all the liquor and stuff. But, you go and you get some candy, or you get bags of candy. It's one of those things. But I don't like doing that too much either. Because we're not big candy people, I don't encourage that. To say, oh yeah, go on, we're gonna eat as much candy as we can. I would rather have just like a bit, one of those small little things of Haagen-Dazs or something like that, and put those in there and say, hey, eat some ice cream today. but it's limited. You don't want to have it be like 10 pounds of candy. We normally put something, DVDs are good. So, okay, so, what are your ideas? Put those in the comments section. And these right here, 10 best last minute Christmas gifts. Let's see what you think about that. This is over at Odie.com. Let's see, masterclass. What? Is that? Okay, what the heck? Oh, you're in the stocking. What's this? Oh, it's a masterclass. What? Who wrote this crap? Who wrote this, dude? Who wrote this? We got to see who wrote it. Let's see. Cormac Evans. Okay, Cormac. I don't know about you, bro. I don't know about that. Oh, Sega Genesis Mini. So that's one, how, and it runs with a simple USB hookup. It's a lot easier to find than PlayStation 5. What kind of stockings are, last minute Christmas gifts? I'm thinking stocking stuffers. Didn't it say stocking? No, just Christmas gifts. Okay, I got you. I'm thinking stocking stuffers. I'm like, yeah, go get some candy for the kids, put under the tree. No. So we're not talking stocking stuffers. We're talking, that's really the only thing we normally have to do last minute. But, so last minute Christmas gifts, okay? Not stocking stuffers, Christmas gifts. Sega Genesis Mini. Okay. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? Masterclass. Why is Masterclass so expensive? Just to create the illusion of exclusivity, it costs as much as a community college credit. But that also makes it an incredible gift for someone who worships one of the instructors. Well, I don't know, but worship's a good idea. But it's true. It's true. I kind of wanted to take one of those master classes. In fact, there's been a couple of them. There's been a couple of them I wanted to do. One about chess and one about film. David Lynch one on film, and I forget what's his name, man. On chess. Oh yeah, board games and puzzles. That makes sense. Yeah, last minute. Go and get some board games. Go and get some puzzles. And make sure the puzzles are kind of cool. I like puzzles. My kids, man, they were doing puzzles last week. They were all upset because Ambrose was apparently, putting all these puzzle pieces together and like, where it all goes. And it's like, dude, no, he's just doing a good job. I mean, do you really believe he knows where all 200 or 300 pieces go? Give me a break. The guy's just really good with puzzles, man. Really good with puzzles. I would add, like cryptograms. How many of you guys play Sudoku, by the way? How many of you guys play that? I think I tried once, and I'm like, whatever. I like cryptograms, though. I like word searches, too. All right, mini projector. It's not something anyone needs, but it's a fun toy for setting up a genuine movie night instead of staring at your phone. There's a lot of things, man, you can do instead of staring at your phone. Or while sitting in front of a Netflix binge. Man, there's a lot going on inside this person. There's a lot going on inside this person, man. You don't need to do either of those things. Neither one, okay? A day planner. That's a good one. But by the way, how many of you guys have gotten day planners and then you just never end up using it? Because I've bought a lot of them. I think I've probably bought, 6 or 7 of them buggers. And, I get excited about it. I'm like, oh, this looks great. And I might put a couple days in there and I'm putting names and stuff in and all that. And then all of a sudden it's just like, and I don't look at it for months and months and months. And then I get excited about it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. I should use that. And so I go and I break out the planner again. My wife uses Google Calendar. But I hate using devices, man. I hate using devices. I don't like another reason to get on the phone, especially in notifications. She's like, well, you just put on notification. I'm like, that's even more. That's even more of a reason. That's another thing to push. Another beep beeping at me. There's got to be a way. I wonder if there was a way that you could do it so that it would call your phone. Right? You answer the phone, right? It calls and maybe a landline. Because you know what would be a great Christmas present for me would be a landline. I'm not even joking. I would love that, by the way. I plan on buying one, actually. And I'm looking up hacks on how to make a rotary cell phone. Not even kidding, guys. Not even kidding. I want it back. I want it. I want it, man. I want that authentic feel and the idea that it's slow. The idea that there are multiple means by which you can remember numbers, and you're not like, oh yeah, just put in the person's name. It drives me nuts, by the way. It drives me nuts. A meal kit subscription. We had one of these. It was what was it called, man? What was that called? We would get these boxes from all over the world, right? And so you would have candy and food, like little bags of chips and bags of candy and stuff like that, that could be shipped from around the world, so that you would get kind of tastes of different countries from around the globe. And it was a whole bunch of fun, but the kids didn't like it. Well, they did, but they weren't big fans of it. They didn't like experimenting, They're not really at that age where that made a lot of sense to them, and they're like, well, I just want some Reese's peanut butter cups. You're like, why don't you eat this candy, from Romania? Why don't you try that? This is some Brazilian candy over here. And they're like, oh, no, thank you. I had a lot of it. I ended up eating a bunch of it. Some stuff was better than others, you know what I mean? But it was fun. It was fun. A sad lamp. A sad lamp. Why is that? What the heck, by the way, what is a sad lamp? This is a perfect thing to get someone you don't know very well. In-laws, co-workers, new friends. You don't know your in-laws. Okay. Unless someone has stated they love when the sun goes down at 3:30 in the afternoon, they'll appreciate the extra light in their home or office. Why do they call it is SAD, whatever, sad lamp? Whatever. Subscription to a streaming service. No, don't do that. Why don't you go buy them a book? What's wrong with these people? They're like, everything's like, oh, well, just, you'll have more reasons to go on to Netflix. How about no, dude? Why don't you check out some voodoo? No! I've already got a bazillion apps. I got them on the TV. I've got them on my phone. I've got them on the computer. They're all around me. They're all around me. I don't need it anymore, man. Buy me a stinking book. Buy me a magazine, by the way. Buy me a subscription to the American Conservative or Chronicles magazine. Buy me something like that. Storyworth. There's a long wait for this gift to pay off, but give it now. And the recipient spends a full year sending stories to the service. Really? What? I don't. Beer subscription. Oh, well, is that real? Wrap a six-pack for giving with details about the subscription. It's perfect for the bearded IPA lover who is, quote, really into sours right now. Okay, I hear you. I hear you, man. Yeah, I didn't even know that was a real thing. I had no idea. So what you guys, what are your suggestions? What are things that you would suggest for last minute things that you can buy for your friends for Christmas? And do you believe that it needs to be one of those things that actually make it on Christmas, or can you just simply tell them and say, look, you're actually going to get it after Christmas? Christmas Day, right? Right. So Christmas Day, because the feast, man, it lasts a while, guys. It lasts a while. It's a season, man. It's amazing. Let's see here. Let's see here. So in the comments, here, talking about some of the gifts that people can send. You've got Ricky says, I had the original Sega. Dude, so did I. I had the original Sega, man. It was a fantastic device. In fact, I've got it now where I've got a bunch of games that were available on Sega that are now available on my television. And so I can go ahead and play those games, man. Go ahead and play those games. Like Mortal Kombat, dude. Like Mortal Kombat, man. Like Sonic. Mrs. Hahn, hey, Jeremiah. I had to stop by to get my dose of sunshine. Thanks for the healing. I needed it today. God bless you. Mrs. Hahn. You're an amazing person, by the way, Mrs. Hahn. You are an amazing person. There are no words for that, in fact. And very, very, very pleased to be your friend and very grateful for the kind of work that is being done and the work that we're doing together. And you say landlines are best. I totally agree with you 100%. In fact, she's the kind of person we gotta have her over. She's got one of those devices that shows like how much radiation is, hot spots in your house and stuff like that to do with the Wi-Fi. And she was talking to me last night and describing some of that. We got to have her over, man. We got to have you over, Mrs. Hahn. So very, very, very pumped about that. Let's see here. Barbara says, ow, many Christmas 2019 day planners got scrapped in March 2020. This year of COVID, no planners necessary. It's more like a bucket list, right, at this point. It's more like a bucket list. No, not wireless landline. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Landlines are best. Yeah. And aren't they, though, guys, by the way? Aren't they, though? I miss the idea that phone is ringing on your wall. I do. And when you grab it, it's got a little cord, man, a little coil. And you're sitting there, you're trying to get around the corner to get your privacy. Trying to do that. That's when privacy was actually real, by the way. There is no privacy right now. I don't even entertain many conversations where they talk about that. Yeah, let's hear. Because when they do, they're like, oh, man, that's an invasion of privacy. And I'm like, dude, you are on all the social media platforms. You're carrying around a cell phone everywhere you go. It's a panopticon. They're like, I'm fighting for my privacy in the panopticon. And I'm like, you don't know what a panopticon is, do you? You have no clue what a panopticon is. It's essentially an all-seeing eye. It's the idea, how are we going to monitor everybody? And in fact, monitor them in a way that the all-seeing eye will know what's going on. And that even if it doesn't know what's going on, the impression is that it does. And so there's a chilling effect on what people will say and what people will do, because the lens has its eye on you. And so it's been a way to keep order inside of prisons. There's been different models that have been put together, and none have done it so great. None have done it so great as big tech. And we push the button. Yeah, I don't need to read anything. I wouldn't understand it anyway. And you're like, then don't push it. Then don't push it, man. Don't push it. Or just say, I'm giving up my privacy. I'm not going to be a LARPer pretending that I'm living in the 80s when you could wake up and there was no big tech that knew what you were doing that day. That there was no big tech that knew, for example, when you were going pee-pee or doo-doo, which they do right now. You might think, well, why would you say that? Because it actually knows. They actually know. And it even has, you can watch, I believe it's on Tucker, they had a machine that intercepts and translates the information that your devices are giving to these big tech groups. And it has on there the various things you did throughout the day, even if your phone is off, even if you turn it all the way off, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Because it was 3 different phones. Doesn't matter what kind of phone you use. They had a Google phone, Android phone, iPhone. One of them on airplane mode all day, one of them on regularly, and one of them off, except for a couple occasions when they were taking pictures and they texted somebody and then turned it back off. They went around town, all over the place, came back, and all those devices, they all knew where the people had been. They knew everything about what was going on, including when they closed the door or when they were using the bathroom, and it had a percentage of accuracy. It said 97% certainty that you were going poopy. So, I mean, look, you don't even have privacy with that. You're like, hey, this is the most private moment. I'm sitting in the bathroom. I need some privacy. The kids are beating on the door. Hey, what are you doing in there? You're like, can't you tell? Can't you smell that? You're like, get away. Get out of here. And you think they're the only ones in the whole time, man. Google and Facebook and all these apps, they got their eyes. They're like, oh yeah, man, you're going poop. You're like, dude, why do you know this? Well, we need to know. And you go, why? Well, because we're surveillance capitalism. And you're like, oh yeah, that's right. That's right. So don't talk to me about privacy, man. Don't talk to me about privacy like that. Well, I won't play that game, man. I'm not LARPing. And when I do LARP, man, I'm going to go, and have fun dressing up like, some kind of Viking or something. Some duke, right? An archduke. I'm going to dress up as something like that, man. I'm not going to be sitting there LARPing the idea that I'm a fighter for the privacy. All the while, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just going to play the game on the most intrusive panopticon in the history of the universe. Yeah, no thanks. It's super duper fake. Super duper fake, man. And we're not going to be able to resolve this issue. No. Oh, why? Dude, okay, look, I gotta be nice, because people come in all different shapes and sizes, right? But some people just cave, and they're like, no, that we are not only thinking this is good, but we're very proud. And we think that this is perfectly normal. And guys, it's just not. Ladies at their age, number one, they should not be riding around rascals. I mean, those are rascals, dude. Those are not, like a red Raz moped. And technically, red Razes were not mopeds. They were motor scooters. And there's a difference, by the way. I hope that the purist is like, thank you, man. Thank you. I have a moped. I'm pedaling around. It's got an engine. I crank it on, right? You don't know. So a motor scooter. This is not a red Raz. But they're trying to make it cool like a red Raz. It reminds me of, the 70s or whatever. When, driving around town, cruising, all the way up to the 90s. I remember cruising, going downtown, driving around. You got a whole bunch of people on the weekend, man. All the ladies, all the boys and girls lined up, man, on the streets, partying, sitting on the back of trucks, you know, everything else, having a blast, getting dressed up nice and fancy, riding around. You're feeling pretty dope in your Nova. Feeling pretty dope in the Nova. You got the Jeep, the rag top on the Jeep. You got that bugger down. Cranking up some music, man. Getting pumped up about life. Looking at future possible mate pairing situations and all of that. Everybody, makeup, and man, you know, doing that kind of thing all the time. This is what it's turned into. This is what it's turned into, and we can't tolerate this, guys. We simply cannot tolerate it, man. There's just no way we can do this. Let's see here. I don't know what this is. What is this? Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to turn that off because I have no idea what's going on with it. All right. What is this one? Do's and don'ts. We'll talk about that later. Okay. These are do's and don'ts. And well, you know what? We'll end with this one because we got more funny ones. Let's see here. Oh, no. We'll do this one and another one real quickly. So, okay. Do's and don'ts. Do's and don'ts on woman's first date. Do's and don'ts, including why you should go to a dimly lit bar. Do you guys agree with this, by the way? I want to hear your suggestions. What do you think, man? What do you think? Is this the way to get mate pairing going on? Is this how it works, man? And what would you add to that list, by the way? Jana Hawking spoke about where you should be going on your first date and places you should absolutely avoid to increase the chances of meeting up for a second time. Now, here's the thing. Let me ask this. How many of you guys even believe that people should be dating? How many of you believe that? How many of you believe in the courting model? Or a variant of the courting model? How many of you believe in love at first sight? How many of you believe in soulmates, by the way? How many of you believe that? In different kinds. How many of you believe in dating and say, nope, dating's perfectly fine. It's the way it works. And what are the rules, by the way? I'd love to hear what you have to say on it. And there's a really good discussion on Meaning of Catholic about this, Tim Flanders and Kennedy Hall. Although, you know, those guys are pretty hardcore, man. I'm not going to lie. How many of you believe that in arranged marriages, by the way? There might be people. There might be people talking about, you know, having meetings with the butcher in town and stuff and being like, yo, you see my daughter? And he's like, yes. You know, I don't know. Tradition, you know, the way it goes sometimes. It's the way it goes sometimes. I watch that movie and I get sad, man. I'm like, you know, I think it might have turned out better if, you know, maybe she would have married, you know, the butcher. I don't know. Oh, man. I like that, by the way. Okay, a lot of pressure rides on first dates. It's the make or break of finding a romantic partner after all. And, you know, I'm going to go to this. I'm going to go to a different page. There we go. I like this one better. I like this one better. Plus, you can see my scarf, to be honest. All right. A lot of pressure rides on first dates, so there are a few things you should consider when it comes to picking the first date location. Jana Hawking, an Australian radio producer who often talks about dating, has outlined a few do's and don'ts that singletons should follow when arranging to meet up. Let's see. In her news.com.au column, 36-year-old revealed that a spot with dark lighting is the key to a successful date. Maybe. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about that? And what's up with that, by the way? They're talking about a pub and stuff like that. Is there a video with this? I don't think so. You see, there's nothing quite like a dark bar or a candlelit dinner to really see us in our best light. Yeah, is it true, guys? Is it true? And by the way, what age? What age should you begin dating or courting? What age is off limits? I mean, if people have limits about, well, they don't believe that their daughter should be, for example, wearing makeup until a certain age, stuff like that, then it would seem like this would be a reasonable conversation. You know, for my daughter, it's, I think, 35 or 36. For my daughter, it's going to be like, when can I go out on a date? And I'll be like, yeah, man, you know, when you're, you know, getting ready for retirement, then you can go ahead. Yeah, you want to go on some dates, the way to do it, you know, make sure to go talk to the nuns. We're going to go to the, you know, the cloister. We're going to go over there. You're going to spend a little bit of time with them first. That's the way you got to do it. Oh boy, she's going to punch me. My daughter, I love her, man. I love my daughter so much. In fact, we had pillow blankets. We did pillow blankets, although I couldn't sleep on the floor, man. It was too, we laid out tons of blankets and stuff. It just simply, it wasn't going to work. So she said, there's nothing quite like this, the dark bar candlelit dinner. It not only adds the kinda filter, often only found on Instagram, but a dark, on what the blazes? She's like, it's like a filter on Instagram. And you're like, well, okay. So the problem with that is that, people using a lot of those filters, I'm not entirely sure how much I would believe them. I'd be like, oh, I see, not Money Down says it's not just the filter, but it's also, that one particular angle where the forehead's cut off and it leaves just enough room for, things down at the bottom of the picture. I think you know what I mean. I don't even have to go into detail about that. Which, by the way, ladies, please stop. Please stop doing that. Okay, we all know, everybody knows at this point. Everybody knows that if you're taking a picture and every picture of you is cut off right above your eyebrows, and we know why that is, because we can scroll down. I discourage men from doing that, but you can scroll down and you say, oh, it's making some room. You know what I mean? It's making some room. If you really want us to see that, which is inappropriate, but if you really do, and that's what you're about, I mean, why don't you just be forthright about it? Because otherwise you're showing from your chin to, down on your chest, and that's the bulk of the picture. It's ridiculous. Don't you have one of those golden mean spirals that show where the eyes naturally go? It's to a big blank canvas now. And you look at the time and you're like, why is she cutting off her forehead? Oh, yeah, gotcha. So let's see here. We can wear our Spanx with ease, knowing that the extra kilos put on over winter are quietly tucked away. See, this is all about deception, guys. This isn't about being honest. She says on the first date, she doesn't want to have to worry about how flattering her outfit is, as it adds an element of stress to the day. Okay, I get that. I get that a little bit. But you also don't want to be the person that's like, no, I can look better. First impressions are pain. It's true. It's part of reality. I mean, and why would you treat it that way? I mean, what about the smell? Why not? Why are you focusing so much on just the eyeballs? She also doesn't recommend activity dates where you'll get sweaty and flustered either. Okay, so she's saying you should smell good, and you should clean up and make sure that you smell good, that you don't smell like Duke, but you can maybe look a little bit fugly. That's not right. And by the way, guys, I don't encourage that either. I definitely do not encourage that. And yes, in the comments, James says, people shouldn't date or court until the discernment of marriage. Too many people use dating today as a fake marriage. Dating for years and until death, it's not Christ-like. I would agree to that, by the way. I would say, in discernment, you should have some kind of a spiritual director that's helping you to discern marriage and say, like, what is marriage? What is my role in marriage? What is my wife or husband's role? What is that? What qualities am I looking for? Maybe they can read sermons by John Chrysostom. He's got some really great sermons on marriage, in fact, and how to mate pair. And so really, really, really great stuff. What do you think about that, by the way? What do you think about that? All right, last one. What? Oh, mullet is making a comeback as a hairstyle of 2021. No, no, it's not. Oh, it is. Oh, no, it's not. We got to fight back. Because of him? No, dude, why? Why would people be like, oh, dude, did you see that guy's crappy haircut? We should bring it back. No, dude. We must fight this guy. We must fight this. These people will live with an enormous, enormous amount of regret. Self-loathing, in fact. I know, believe me. Not only because I had a little bit of a mullet. I was saved, by the way, from anything that stupid. I was spared. God was gracious to me. The sun shined brightly, not only back then, but throughout the remainder of my life, because I don't have any haircuts looking like that guy. No way, dude. No way. But you get that hockey mullet, right? Where it's all kind of greasy and stringy curls in the back. Dude, son, no. You get the stuff cut on the sides looking like a Beavis and Butthead head cut? No. You got the shingles? No. Just don't do it, dude. Some things you gotta let die. You've got to let it just go and say, you know what? History is full of mistakes, guys. And we got to learn from it. We got to learn from it. Oh. Let's see here. It's unbelievable. Oh, yeah, okay. So British Master Barbers Alliance. Oh, yeah. It sounds like some kind of New World Order crap. Explain that things are going to take an unexpected turn, telling the Daily Star the modern mullet is only going to get bigger in 2021. We'll see more men up and down the country walking around with this style. Long hair will be big news in 2021. And hair products to give control to longer styles will explode next year. No, I can't complain about long hair. I don't dog it. I mean, I've got hair that hangs down over my face, man. Sometimes it gets pretty crazy, gets pretty wild all over the place, hanging down, in front of my face and stuff. But it's got to be stylish, guys. It's got to be stylish. You can't look like crap. You can't look like crap. And so if he's talking about bringing back the big hair stuff, dude, from the 80s, you know what? No way. You can take that to HE double hockey sticks because that's where it came from. You can put it right back down into the flames, man. You can put it right back down into those flames because the truth is the only individual the only individual evil enough to try to resurrect the freaking mullet would be Satan. That's it. Well, Satan and the guy who to this day is driving around listening to, Skid Row and other stuff in the T-top. And I like T-tops, by the way. But he's driving around and he's listening to Skid Row. He's got his jean jacket. His jean jacket collar's up. And he's got that really long or puffy mullet behind him. Maybe a spike on top with some shingles cut into the side. He's drinking some Milwaukee's. listening to all this stuff on 8-track. And he's like, it's coming back, son. Yeah. And you're like, no, dude. His stonewashed pants. Although I can't rip on that. I have a pair of stonewashed. Who was this? What the heck? No, dude. That's not right. Oh, Miley Cyrus. Oh, wow. Miley Cyrus has a mullet. Good for her. No thanks. No thanks to that. Oh, gosh. All right, guys. All right. So, right now, I want to thank you guys again for joining the show. I want to thank you again for keeping my family in prayer. Again, as a reminder, and we're keeping up with this to find out what's going on. Our family is currently safe, but there was a drive-by that took place on our block today. And we've never had anything like that close to home. I was actually telling somebody yesterday that the only thing we've ever had on this block was a local kid a couple houses up that during the day when the neighbors would go to work, he'd break into their home. He's a teenager. Got busted for it, And so that's the only stuff we've ever had on the block. We had one time when we first moved here. I'm outside playing. We're doing golf in the front yard and everything with the family. And all of a sudden, man, there's probably 30 girls. There's probably 30 girls, man, that come onto the block. They don't live here. None of them do. None of them live on our block at all. And they all get in a big circle and they're yelling and cussing at each other. And it was obvious that it was a fight. It was obvious that that's what was going to go down. And my kids are like, what is happening? I'm talking like maybe 40, 50 feet away from where we're playing. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I say, what are you girls doing? And they're, don't mind your own business. And I'm thinking, I'm about to make it my business. And I did. Because they were like, I said, are you guys fighting? And they said, well, they ain't being friends. And I'm like, oh, you're getting the F off my block. I said the F word a lot. And they're like, you said naughty words. And I'm like, you're fighting on a block you don't even live on, you weirdos. Go to your house, dude. Go to your house. Get out of here. You shouldn't be swearing at us. You shouldn't be fighting like a bunch of weirdos. You're ladies anyway. Well, obviously, let me take this back. You're not. You are not ladies. Bad upbringing. Or just falling into sin, maybe. Maybe. And look, ladies fight just like ladies fart. That's real, okay? That stuff happens. I don't want to pretend that there's never, I was in the Navy. I know kind of what goes on with some of the ladies, man, and ferocious, in fact, messed up junk. But at the same time, You know, if you're gonna fight and you're a lady, man, take it somewhere else, man. Don't come onto my block right around my kids, and do that. Get out of here. But we had that situation. It's the only things that we've ever had. Never had any other problems on this block, never. And today, in fact, right now, as far as I know, our road is shut down by the police right now because they are trying to figure out what went on and who was being targeted because they believe it was a drive-by. And I've got a house full of kids, by the way. We have security, things like that, but we've never been afraid of it. You know, it's a very loving neighborhood. I mean, we all get along. It's the other thing, like, and it upsets me. It upsets me because, you know, if it's on this block, I want to know, you know, we got to talk as a neighborhood and say, what the heck's going on, man? What the heck's going on? Why is somebody shooting up your place? Money Down says it's the kids. Money Down says it's the kids. If so, get your kids in line. Get yourself in line, in fact. Obviously, something ain't happening. Something's wrong. That's gang crap. They ain't doing that because you guys disagreed over something petty. Or maybe it was, but it was blown up because of the involvement of the idea of being in a gang. Serious problem, guys. So keep our family in prayer. All right. You got to get the coffee ready. It's that time. It's that time of day where we go ahead and we do the Wolfpack song. So you got to get that coffee ready, everybody. You got to get the coffee ready right now. It doesn't matter where you are. If you're at school, if you're at work, well, you might not be at school. You might be on break. Okay. If you're at home, if you're at work, if you're out and about, if you're listening in the car, if you are at the grocery store, it doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter where you are. You need to resolve today, right now, beginning, if you haven't already, and you should already, but if you have not yet resolved to do this, you must right now. And the best way to do it is to grab that cup. Doesn't matter if it's water. Doesn't matter what it is. I don't care. Maybe it's the Kraken. Maybe you're releasing and opening up some of the Kraken. You know, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Whatever it is that you resolve today, that you are going to howl at the sun, rejoicing and being grateful. Because today is the day the Lord has made, and you are fortunate enough to be part of it. And in fact, not just fortunate, you were made for a time like this. And to live in a time like this, as with every other time, but especially when it gets rough, you need to resolve deep in your heart 3 things. Never give up. Keep on smiling. And remember that you're mortal. Remember that you will die. And we do this to remind us, to encourage and inspire us, to motivate us, to give our absolute best in thought, word, and deed every single moment of every single day. So get that coffee out because we're going to raise it high. You let the world know you're alive and you're a child of the King. Here we go. All right. I got my mug here. Check it out. Yeah. I got my mug here. When the Grudge stole Christmas, the people took it back. Ah, look at all these wolves. Howl at the sun, brothers and sisters. Here we go. Yeah. Come on, kid. Look at him go. Come on, Louie. Come on, Lucian. You are amazing. A child of the King. I want to hear you. Let heaven hear you. Howl at the sun. There we go. There we go. Oh, there we don't go. We were there. Get it off, man. Get it off. There's no more of that. There's no more of that. Oh, my gosh. Okay. We're going to go to the... Oh, hold on a second. Got to take that off. Got to take that one off. All right. Before we move on any further, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play this When the Grudge Stole Christmas one more time. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Is it the top one? I think it is. I think it is. We've got 2 of them. I'm going to play it again, though. We played it earlier on in the show. We got to play it again right now. When the Gretsch Stole Christmas, we made this commercial. It was amazing. It was so amazing that even Papa John's liked it. Really, really cool, man. So we're really grateful to Papa John's for liking it and for, in fact, liking multiple different tweets that we put out. Put together by the Team Tiny Dancer family. That's my family. As well as Paleocrat Diaries, which is us. And a whole bunch of other groups that are mentioned at the end. The commercial was put together by us. But the event that's taking place on December 23rd is put on by a bunch of amazing people that I'm so inspired and encouraged by them. You just don't even know. And so I hope you enjoy this video. We'll be back here in about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. What is wrong with you guys?
Someone at school told us the Gretch stole Christmas.
Who told you that?
Ken and Karen.
Ken and Karen. Why are you guys even listening to them? Look, let's listen. The Gretch cannot steal Christmas.
But the Gretch won't even let us go to restaurants.
That is totally tyrannical, but
The big Gretch won't let us play sports or nothing.
that is wicked heinous, except that...
The Gretch won't let us go to the roller rink.
Ugh.
What are we going to do for Christmas?
That's what I've been trying to tell you.
Join us at the Lansing Capitol on December 23rd for the Michigan Patriot Council's Christmas Extravaganza. There'll be caroling, music, an award ceremony, even a live nativity scene. And we'll be gathering donations for veterans and those less fortunate this holiday season. The family-friendly fun begins at 4 p.m., topped off with the patriotic parade from 6 to 7. So tell your friends and family, your classmates and coworkers, that when the Gretch stole Christmas, it was the people who took it back. Merry Christmas.
Will Santa be there?
Santa? Of course Santa's gonna be there. In fact, I've heard a rumor that there's gonna be some super hot, I mean, very fancy elves.
Yay!
Oh my gosh, dude. Oh. See, I told you the Gretch couldn't steal Christmas. Not from baby Jesus.
The Christmas Extravaganza is brought to you by Michigan Patriot Hub, American Patriot Council, Stand Up Michigan, Republican Women's Federation of Michigan, Paleocrat Diaries, and Michigan citizens just like you.
Yeah, that guy's got a pretty good voice. That guy's got a pretty good radio voice. I don't know who that is. Hey, give that guy a cookie or something. So all right, we're gonna move on here. We're gonna move on to the comments. In fact, to the wolf pack. We got to do it. And in fact, because check this out real quick, right here. Tell me if this is true. By the way, Gary Moss, pretty cool. A pack of wolves. The first three are the older and sick, and they set the pace of the group. If it was on the contrary, they'd be left behind and lose contact with the pack. In ambushed cases, they'd be sacrificed. The following are the 5 strongest. In the center, following the remaining members of the pack. And at the end of the group are the other 5 stronger. Last alone follows the alpha wolf. It controls everything from the rear. That position can control the whole group, decide the direction to flow, and anticipate attacks of opponents. The pack follows the rhythm of the elders and the head of the command that imposes the spirit of mutual help, not leaving anyone behind. Is it true? Is it true? You know, I it's one of those things, man. I would love to confirm this, because if true, that's amazing. It's amazing, and I feel that way about you guys, man. That we're here, you know, we're working together, and we don't leave anybody behind, man. In fact, that was one of the things, and we may just include that in the mottos, make it from 3 to 4, which would be a bummer in a way, because then I wouldn't be able to do the Ninja Turtle hand anymore. You know, I have to do 4. Figure out a way to make the Ninja Turtle hand have only a 4th digit. I don't know. And so the thing is, though, what would it be? 4? How would you do that? 4 or 5? So, but the thing is, you know, when we were going through all the stuff with childhood brain cancer, when we were going through that, my stepdad, he used the phrase Ohana. And in fact, sometimes you'll see I have an Ohana mug that I use sometimes. And when we use that, the idea is that we're not leaving anybody behind. you know, that we are, as a group, we are together on this. And so I thought about that, and I said, I really like that image, and I like that idea for this group, because we're a tight-knit group of people. We're a tight-knit group of people. You know, we're the mom and pop shop here. Okay, we're like the local diner. You got a lot of people come in, you see familiar faces, people who show up, and when they're not there, you're bummed. You hope they're okay, and I hope you guys are praying for each other. In fact, pray for the wolf pack. God knows what you're talking about. God knows who you're talking about. He knows their needs. He knows their struggles. In fact, there's one, he learned something about himself recently. Okay, he learned that something had happened that's it's caused, in fact, a significant amount of pain in his life, and he was already dealing with an extraordinary amount of pain. His family, they've had to make a lot of sacrifices and stuff because of it's debilitating, right? It's a disability, and so he's gotten to the point now where it's at another level of pain on top of the pre-existing pain already, and it's through the roof. And he reached out to me and said, "Can you just let everybody know, pray for our family." And so pray for the wolf pack, pray for the members of the wolf pack, and trust that God knows, and trust that the wolf pack is praying for you. Okay, so we're in this together, guys. We're in this together. And right here, I will not bow down. I will not comply. I will never be one of your sheep. Talking, of course, about the New World Order crap that's going on left and right. The way the Great Reset and everything else, the modernists and the wickedness that's going on with the globalists and such, that they're trying to manipulate the way that we think and the way that we feel, the way that we behave, the way that we speak, and that we here as a wolf pack, we're refusing to do that. We're refusing to do that. Okay? We've got one king, and he has all power and all authority. Okay? All power and all authority in heaven and on earth right now. Okay? Right here, let's see. KMO asked in the comments, what are your opinions on veganism? It depends, man. I know people who even someone I'd like to have on the show, is it Lizzie Answers or whatever? I'd like to have her on the show sometime and talk to her about it, because she'll take Catholic encyclicals like papal documents and stuff, and she'll talk about the way that the popes in Catholic social teaching have decried the inhumane treatment of animals, okay, that it's been really bad, or these factory farms and stuff like that, and use that as a reason to say, well, vegans talk about that too. And you go, yes, but it doesn't by necessity come to the same conclusion. You can be against certain things like factory farms, for example. You can be against the kind of farming that you'd see in Napoleon Dynamite, for example, where it's got all the chickens all over the place and you're shoving them into these little tiny places and everything, and they're just trapped in there all day. Or against the idea of pumping your, cattle with a bunch of crazy hormones and such that bloat up the udders, and they're oozing and everything else, and all the hormones in the food, and the way this major corporate farming and all that. You can try to tether it back down to the land and still get to that place where you believe that it is okay, in fact, to slaughter animals for food. It doesn't require that you be opposed to that and say, well, what that means is that you shouldn't eat any meat ever. That's not, it does not follow. It does not of necessity follow. And so I would like to, have a discussion and find out what she thinks. I like meat, right? In fact, my wife and I, we're taking the crusade against fat, we're taking it seriously. And so we're doing together. She's never done it before, but we're doing keto. I've done carnivore, and I'm probably just going to go back to doing that. But I do carnivore with meat, eggs, cheese, stuff like that. Heavy whipping cream, all that. So I'm definitely not a big. I'm not a vegan. On the other hand, I can recognize certain benefits to veganism for certain people, like my sister. I'm going to have her on the show. She's a vegan. She's a whole food vegan. Lost a significant amount of weight, but she did that in large part because of cancer. Okay. Well, not even in large part. That's what got her started. It's what got her started, because she has breast cancer. And so, and there's logic to what you put in your food and what ends up happening, but there are also other things, like increased kidney problems, depending on what kind of stuff you're eating, even as a vegan, or issues to do with stroke when compared to keto or carnivore, which you're in ketosis, right? So that would make it less likely to have certain problems, but more likely to have others. And I feel that that's the way it's going to go, because there's no holy grail for this that says you're going to live forever. I mean, we're not going to pull a John Kellogg here, okay? We're going to pull that, if you just eat cornflakes. If you just eat corn, now, that's before they even put a bunch of sugar and crap on it. You know, you do cornflakes and give yourselves enemas all the time, you'll live forever. And he ends up dying, right? The way that goes. Let's see here. Veganism, James says, veganism is cringe, and living that lifestyle will leave your estrogen levels high and make you overtly feminine. You know, I know some dudes who are still pretty masculine, and even cultures, by the way, that are, I would not consider them effeminate. And they have heavily, their diets are very plant-based in their diets. And so maybe not, well, some of them would be vegan, right? And yet I wouldn't consider them effeminate. You know, I don't know if you could really watch Bollywood, Bollywood, and be like, oh yeah, man, these guys with the mustaches and the bellies and stuff and being all manly, those guys are, you know, effeminate. At the same time, I mentioned last week that I was going through all these pictures of myself where I started to see, man, I used to make, you know, what is that face, man? Soy face. The, you know, kind of thing. And I'm like, man, I did that a lot. And I started to realize, like, dude, actually, I was eating a lot of soy. I'm not saying it's a scientific way of looking at it, but at the same time, you know, it's true. And so you need to be careful. If you are a vegan, you would need to be careful. If you're a man, you should be careful on what you're putting in, like what kind of soy, in fact. There's, you know, it would be not even very scientific to just say just soy. There's, you know, so there's different ways of basically processing that. Sorry, but that's how I feel about it. But I'm not a vegan. I don't even encourage people to be vegans, you know, unless you know, it's something to do with you know, cancer or certain things that maybe they're dealing with, cholesterol levels or whatever that they may have a problem with. And there are some people who have sensitivity to, you know, when they go on keto or anything like that, they may actually have something that makes that not just problematic, but in fact dangerous. And so people should know more about their bodies and stuff. Ricky says, Heaven's Gate cult who killed themselves in catching hail-bop false belief. Oh yeah, totally, by the way, Ricky V. It's good to see you too. Yeah, you've got people believing in, you know, kind of this Adventist thing, right? That's saying that the end is imminent. It's about to happen now. And there's a spectrum of that. There are some that still believe you should, you know, shine the brass on a sinking ship. You're going to be zoinked out of here any minute, but, you know, try to make it good. You know, why, I'm not sure. And then there are others that say, well, I don't care how the world goes because it's going to happen any minute. So they're like an escapist even in time. And there's been a lot of those, and it affects life for everybody else, which makes it almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Ricky says, Y2K, that was another one. Yeah, I mentioned that with Gary North. And I like some of Gary North's books. He's a Calvinist. But I like some of his books on, you know, political polytheism, for example, is an absolutely remarkable book. And so I'll have to revisit that. When I interview Timothy Gordon, I'm going to ask him specifically about it. I asked him before, and he didn't address it, and I don't know if he'd ever read it. But it's a fantastic book. But Gary North is a Y2K guy. He was one of those. He was part of that. Was the Prophecy Club? Back during Y2K, you know, they're talking about everybody getting a gun. I remember listening to the radio one time, and this prophet dude, he's on there, and he's like, you know, if some woman comes up to me and we're fighting over food, and she comes up and she's trying to grab it, he's like, I don't care if it's a woman. He's like, gun to her head and blowing her face off. I'm like, wow, son. Like, dang, dude. You know, and it never happened. So he's just a scary person. Like that, you know, it didn't happen. But he made a bunch of money, scared a bunch of people. People sold their stuff. They gave their savings away. They sold their homes, and nothing happened. It's stunning. It's stunning. Now, see, Nathaniel Richards said, my oneness Pentecostal preacher, dad, gave end times Bible studies to people. A lot of it had anti-Catholic rhetoric mixed in too, by wondering if the next pope would be the false prophet, etc. That's a common strain, by the way, within Adventism. You know, and I'm not saying Adventism like Seventh-day Adventist, but Adventism as in the Advent is imminent, right? The second coming. And so they're millenarians. Okay. So yes, and by the way, Oneness Pentecostal, they would have a special kind of dislike, like Seventh-day Adventists, a special dislike for the Catholic Church because they reject the Trinity. For people who don't know that, Oneness Pentecostal, what they mean by that is, people who believe in modalism, right? This idea that the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost are all just modes of God, depending on circumstances, and that the name of God is Jesus. So Jesus is the Father, Jesus is the Son, Jesus is the Holy Spirit. He is those three things, and those are modes of operation, depending on intent and circumstance. Raging heresy, by the way. Raging heresy. And again, they're philosophically completely unable to make sense of the one and the many. So it makes no sense. There's a reason why it will forever remain a very small position. And a lot of Oneness Pentecostals, they would, in fact, all, as far as I'm aware, would believe that speaking in tongues is not just the initial evidence of being baptized in the Holy Spirit, but that without that initial evidence, you're not baptized in the Holy Spirit. But if you're not baptized in the Holy Spirit, you're not part of the church. So in other words, the only way to know technically an actual born again believer, someone who has been brought into the unity of the church through the baptism of the Spirit, they don't treat it as a separate thing. And so you are either saved or not. And in that case, if you're saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, you're going to be speaking in tongues. If you have not evidenced that, it's because the Holy Ghost is not within you, and the Holy Ghost is not within you. So therefore, you are not part of the church community. For those who don't know that, by the way, Ivan Baxter, who has an End Times radio show and magazine, wrote the Bible study curriculum he used, always looking for headlines for their theology, sad and frankly exhausting. It totally is. CF says Domino's is the Catholic pizza. I like Domino's, man, but dude, is it really? I mean, is Domino's kind of gone a little bit into the, modernist stuff? Let me know. I mean, I don't want to misrepresent them. I don't want to misrepresent them. Let's see here. Where you said, I've decided dog walkers who don't pick up poop and send it to the land. Oh, you videoed them. Yeah, you videoed them. I don't know why I said decide. Another one, I have friends who live in Southside Chicago, and they told me sometimes they sleep in tubs so they don't get shot by bullets while sleeping at night. Well, Chicago is that's a different universe, man. That's a different universe. But it's, that'd be pretty wicked bad. Let's see here. Let's see. I had the original really, James? You're a 6'4" black guy, and that lady can ride the chocolate wave. Talking about the lady who is windsurfing, dude. I got you, man. I hear you, man. I hear you. You got, I really hope, dude, that a member of the Wolfpack one day you somehow connect, and you'll always be able to say, that the Wolfpack, and the Paleocrat Diaries is what brought you together. It's kind of like how I feel about Burger King with my marriage. All right, here, let's see. People talking about seasonal affective disorder. Yeah, I agree with you about that. There are people who have that. I do. I've dealt with that. In fact, it was one of the reasons why I would never make, a good Texan. I would never do well in a place. I lived in Dallas for a while. It was the most depressing Christmas of my life. I had to decorate my whole room with nothing but like lights and all this other stuff because, you go and I was working at the gift wrapping department, which is an all year thing pretty much at the Galleria in Dallas. Working at Saks at Fifth Avenue because you got, all these rich, fancy pant people and, they're getting gifts all the time. And so I worked there and they're playing the Christmas music all the time, man. It's just one of those things. And, but you hear that and then you go home and you look outside and there's no snow. Nobody is sledding, dude. Nobody is sledding there, okay? Nobody's outside making snow forts. Nobody. It's infuriating. It's infuriating here. Barbara says, I am 60 years old. I was age 8 in 1968, hippie generation. Sexual revolution sparked just as I was a preteen. Raised in a conservative home, attending Catholic grade school. Moved on to Catholic college at 18. I was 18 in 1978. You were 18 when I was born. It's a good year, by the way. Good year. It was a golden year. Yeah. So I don't like dating. I don't believe in hookups, premarital sex, and don't believe living with the person you're dating. Look, I agree. My goals finding a spouse don't match society. This, I believe, is why I'm single. You know, I don't want to speculate as to why you're single. I don't want to speculate on that. I've known people, though, that sometimes, you know, when you hold certain positions in a society that are very demanding and that are outside of the norms of that society, it would make that harder. You know, it might make it harder. Well, if for no other reason than it's going to really limit the pool. You know, because there'll be a lot of people that are like, well, I just want to go on a date. And if you say, well, I don't believe in that. Or they say, well, I want to have premarital sex. You say, I don't believe in that. Each one of those expectations, you end up whittling it down further and further and further. And I think that the church has done a miserable job of connecting people together and resorted to basically making it, by and large, so that, you know, it's internet stuff entirely. You go to these, you know, Christian match places. And a lot of times, man, you'll never know that person. I mean, I'm like, dude, you guys didn't learn that with Christian Chat back in the late 90s? I mean, it was abysmal. I learned that. I dated a girl. I dated 2 girls on that. Didn't marry either one. Heartbreak in both situations. And it's one of those things. Even moved for one of them, man. Moved to Minnesota. I don't regret that. But at the same time, you know, it's like, dude, I got left hanging hard pretty quick, actually. It was a terrible thing. She went to college. You know, and you're not really thinking, you don't really know a lot of these people. And I knew one situation. This is heartbreaking. This is not right. It's a wrong thing. I was talking to this girl for a long time, and we were friends, and we got along, and we liked each other. Right? We enjoyed talking for hours, and she would describe herself. But this is before social media, and so you really didn't have ways to really see too many pictures of these people unless they mailed them. And she would describe herself. And it was always very flattering, right? An hourglass-shaped body type thing, right? And I mean, I was obviously tantalized by that concept. I was saying, I'm down. So we not only get along, you're mega hot. I got you. And she told me, you know, that guys were always talking to her and everything. Well, eventually she sent me some pictures, and I was heartbroken. And not just at her, but at myself too. And it was a real wake-up call, because when I got the pictures, it was one of those things where I saw her and I thought, this is not the way that she described herself. I won't even go into detail because I'm not ragging on anybody. She was a nice person. Okay. But there was no way that I could be with her. I had one person ask me one time, one girl, she asked me, you know, well, would you ever date someone who's, you know, really obese or whatever? And I said, no. Now, at the time I wasn't overweight at all. I'm overweight now. I still wouldn't. People can say that's hypocritical. You know, well, you like vanilla, I like chocolate. I got you. But the thing is that, you know, I said no. And she said, well, then you wouldn't date me. And this girl, by the way, is a friend to this day. Like, one of my favorite callers when I was on radio ever. But she told me, you know, would you date me? And she was very overweight. And I said, no. I got smacked right across the face. And that's okay. We're not going to date. You may not like me. We remain friends, but I wasn't going to lie about that. But that also narrows it down for who I could be with. And so, you know, if you do this, if you do that, it's got to be tough. And you say you just haven't encountered a person that matches your philosophies. I want dating to value person that you could see you're married to. I let this out by the 3rd date, and men say bye-bye. It's hard. We live in wicked times, by the way. And you live in a radical town. Yeah. And yes, by the way, that drive-by was in my neighborhood. My block is shut down right now. So please keep us in prayer. All right, on to the news. Something's brewing. Dan Scavino posts series of tweets after a raucous Oval Office meeting. Trump is ready to take action. But what does this mean, though? What does this mean? So here are the tweets, by the way. Here are the tweets. And I mentioned these earlier. I said, what does this mean? And Trump came out and said there's not going to be any, he said there's not going to be any limited martial law like General Flynn and others have proposed. Okay, so he's like, nope, I'm not doing that. Well, apparently there was a major argument inside of the Oval Office, including them, probably over that exact topic. But what does it mean? Looking at the picture of Churchill. What does it mean? Getting on the phone, making the call. What does it mean? People can only deal with the esoteric so long. They can only deal with the idea of like, it's a hint, it's a hint, it's a hint. We got the hint. We need to know what's going on. Otherwise, no offense, but it kind of, if it's one of those things where it's like, well, we're just going to just let it happen, it's too late. If that's the kind of thing and the way it is, and if you say, keep on fighting, keep on going out there, but the intention is that it's not going to do anything for this, be honest with what your intention is right now. We're not going to give up. We're not going to stop supporting that. We supported it before Trump even showed up. Some of us have supported these ideas our entire lives. And the idea that we're just going to say, well, I guess I'm not going to believe in immigration restriction anymore. I guess I'm going to believe in free trade and all the jobs. It doesn't matter if we're making potato chips or microchips, and it doesn't matter if the job is being done in America or Bangladesh. We're not going to do that. It doesn't matter anymore. I guess we're just going to believe that men aren't men, women aren't women. We're not going to do that. But be honest, by the way. And that's a picture with Andrew Jackson in the background. Again, and maybe it's one of those things, I'm not a trust the plan person. I'm not. I know people are like, trust the plan. It's always 4D chess. And I'm like, no, it's not. That's not how reality works. That's not how reality works. And I've seen too many things that just don't play out, man. I've seen too many things. And it doesn't play out according to the plan. And it's like prophecy in general. So many of these people, these prophets, talking about the future, that they've got this magical crystal ball to reality. And you go, okay, well, it's kind of weird because a lot of your cold readings are way off, dude. A lot of your cold readings are way off. And so you go, well, okay, what's up with that? And can we stack that up and say, your specific predictions have not been very good? You have, in fact, failed multiple times. Gretchen Whitmer, lockdown closes 32% of Michigan businesses. It's true. Oh yeah. We're in the midst of an extended pause. Who didn't believe it was going to be extended? Who actually believed in their right mind that, it's going to be a week? Who believed that? It's going to be 2 weeks. Who believed that? Only the people that will believe anything in the world. They're the Russia people. Same exact ones. Same ones. Nothing was on Biden's laptop. This election was dope. It was the most secure of all time. Nothing could ever do it, not in America. Oh, that's weird, man. For 4 years, you've been saying, the exact opposite of that. Pick your poison. Dr. Fauci tells children that he flew to the North Pole and he vaccinated Santa Claus. Do we even have to talk about this? I mean, it's like this is really actually mentally ill. You're mentally ill, man. You're mentally ill. You're obviously a complete loonbird weirdo. You're not just a complete joke. You're not just a fraud. You are, by the way, people are like, well, he's not a fraud. Why are you saying that? I'm like, dude, you know how many doctors have said this? Oh, maybe you haven't heard either that now even the World Health Organization is saying that the tests that are done for COVID that we've talked about now for months, we've talked about this. They then come up and say, that's a lot of false positives, man. Lots and lots of false positives. That's a bad way of doing it. Can't really tell too well. And you're like, wow, that's crazy. You know how many people might have lost their job because of that or couldn't go to events because of that? It's like the study recently was talking about, I saw it over at Conservative Treehouse, talking about a study that was done that is describing the likelihood of transmission asymptomatically. Dude, we're talking, it wasn't just rare. There was none. There was none. And this is what's so offensive, man. You got all these people, you got all these weirdos in government making these decisions. You've got the Whitmers of the world. You got the Newsoms of the world You've got that whack job down in Chicago, the mayor. You've got the governor and the mayor in New York. You've got weirdos all over the place. Hypocrites all over the place. Senate, House of Representatives, doesn't matter. Liars and hypocrites. And here's the thing, amazing. Congress got paid their full salary of $103,000 for 9 months. They should pay it back. They should pay it back. If they voted to shut us down, pay it back. It's a non-essential service. Say, look, let the states take care of it. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. You guys weren't even showing up for a long time. You should not be getting paid that money. Give it back. You didn't let people make money. You didn't let them defend their families. You didn't allow them to provide food. You didn't allow them to continue doing their dream job. You took it from them. And then what? Adding insult to injury, pouring salt in the wound. You sit there and you take $130,000 every single month. Screw you. Screw you. Sorry, kids. Righteous indignation is real. You are allowed to be indignant. And sometimes there is a legitimate reason to use some words or, some gestures. I'll let your parents talk to you about that. I literally loathe them. I loathe these people. I loathe them. Not a little bit, a lot. To sit there and say, you know what, these are some of the worst human beings maybe the world's ever seen. Monsters, demoniacs. Monsters and demoniacs. And they get all this money for 9 months. And you know what they argue over? Like I said right here. They're arguing over whether or not we deserve $600. That's what they're arguing over. And all the while, how many 600s are you fitting in there? You piece of crap. It's infuriating. It's infuriating, man. We need to make sure. We need to have a really serious consideration, a meeting, to talk about what do you do about people like that, by the way? What do you do about that? What is justice? What does justice actually permit us to do at that point? To say, you shut us down, you're fighting over even giving us $600, $1,200 in what, 12 months? 10 months? $1,200. Spread it out, man. It's $100 a month. Yeah, good luck on your house, by the way. Good luck on your house. Good luck on your food. Good luck on your food. Maybe you should sell your kids. Maybe you should, sell your business. Maybe you should buy a tent with that $100 because you're going to be living on the streets. And those people are going to be living comfortably in their mansions and talking to lobbyists. And then eventually, by the way, like happened recently. And what a pathetic loser, by the way, to sit there and say, we're not going to do any kind of thing with Donald Trump and the Republicans to Nancy Pelosi and company. We're not going to work with them in order to provide money and to the people. And instead, we're going to wait. And it was obvious it was a political tool. They are treating you like a pawn. They are treating you like a sacrificial pawn. They don't care if you get knocked over and die. They'll never even know. They're never going to see you. And when they see you, they will have nothing but disdain. And they're going to feel like they only have to see you a couple times every other year. And they've got to deal with your crap because you're a normal person. And they think that they are so superior to you. They think they're gods. And as long as we allow it to happen, they essentially function as gods. And what I say is we need to end it. We need to know, how do we stop this? And if you come to me and say, well, let's make sure that we're going to vote him out of office next time, I'm going to say, oh, that sounds fine and dandy, doesn't it? And it's part of the ingredients. There's no doubt about it. You got to do it. That's part of what it is. But if that is all you've got, you're a one-stop shop a couple times every couple of years. You're going to be the one-stop shop to put in the little dot, and you think that that's going to work. I don't believe that anymore. I'm done. It's through, guys. It's through. What about you? What do you think about that? You think that's the way it works? You think that's the way reality works? You think that that's not how they got there in the first freaking place? Do you think they're on the up and up when it comes to setting the scales and the standards that are involved in making sure that there is integrity in that system? You believe that? We have to go after them where it hurts, man. And I'm glad to see that people are doing that. For example, here's a great example. And this is what I'm saying. Sometimes the easiest ideas, you know, you come on and you're like, man, that's a really weird idea. I never even thought of that. It's like I was talking to my kids, you know, and saying that back in the day, my brother, when he was in a car accident, he had a trach, right? And he lived with that trach for a long time. And it used to be, they tried all different things. Originally it was scalpels to get the scar tissue, you know. And then it turned into laser surgery after that technology came around. We're all just kind of following that technology and thinking that that's where it's going to be. And that's where the answer is. And so we place it in the hands of the experts and stuff. And you're like, oh, yeah, I mean, that's where it is. And then the first adults to ever have those trachs removed permanently where they could talk again, even with limited, their vocal cords might still be kind of shaky and stuff, but they're talking and breathing through their mouth again. And they're not doing suctioning and all that, the changing of the dressings and stuff. They're not coughing through their neck. They're not doing that anymore. And it was because they took a shaving of a rib. They took a little chip of the bone and put it up in there. Try to hold it open. And then later, it didn't work for everybody. So then later what they did is they said, well, you know, the trach tube, instead of coming out way low on the neck, what if we have a trach tube that goes straight up and goes further up in the back of the throat where that little flap is, right? That keeps the food from going down the wrong tube. And what if it goes up far enough that you got to open that flap, right? You're going to have to open that. And you're breathing, so you're not going to be able to eat through your mouth. But it's a straight tube with a hole here, and you just plug it. And then you have to eat through just a tube in your nose. And watch as the scar tissue forms around it, and then pull it out. Bump, bump, bump. My brother doesn't have a trach anymore. A straight tube with a little hole sticking out that you cap. And you have to eat instead of through your mouth because it'll go down. You have a tube that goes into your nose and your belly, which people have to do for other reasons anyway. So it's not like that's new technology. Like, oh man, that's been around for a minute, guys. Straight tube. And you think, wow, man, somebody's really, it's like Office Space, you know. Somebody came up with, you know, the pet rock or whatever. Jumped to conclusions. And you're like, dang, you know, sometimes a problem is easier to solve than we may think. And here's an example. New York City restaurants to ban Cuomo from dining. If you're in Michigan, you need to ban the governor. You need to ban politicians and say, you are not allowed. Send them a letter. Send them a letter and say, you are not allowed inside of this business. You're not welcome. Yeah. Kick them out. Yeah, Larry Baird said he can eat at some crappy roadside diner outside of Albany, but he will not be served anywhere in New York City, known universally as the world's greatest dining destination. If he has to use the restroom, he can go pee on my street corner. That's what he wants anyway. Yeah. You're not welcome here, man. You're not welcome here, sister. You get out of here. And I think maybe we should even pressure the businesses that allow them people in. And say, no. They're allowing, by the way. They allow for people, the way that they mandate, oh, you own this company, you make food, well, you better make it for gay marriages, tranny marriages, doesn't matter. Oh, you're a photography place? They're dictating all the stuff that you can do. The least you could do is tell them they're not welcome there. Tell them to go home. Say, go get a Hot Pocket, you piece of crap. Go make a Hot Pocket. Go make some mac and cheese. Sack of crap. But we have to work with others. We have to encourage them and say, look, how much are they really bringing in for you? The political parties. Tell the political parties, you're not coming in. You are not welcome here. We don't want you. You did not stand up for us in an effective way. You've allowed it to get to this place where millions of people, right after Christmas, before New Year's Day, millions all across this country, millions are going to be without a home. And the ones in their home, still in their home, fortunate enough to be there, a lot of those people ain't going to be there much longer, because if this continues to go on and they can't work, they're eventually going to have to be same thing, evicted, out, done. Not because of a pandemic, because of a government's response or lack of response. Because politicians and parties have made decisions. There is no because of COVID. Stop talking that way. Because of decisions made by politicians in reaction to what they think we should do. Stop talking like it's some inevitable thing. It sounds like when they say, well, we got to get ready for, the major change in the demographics all across the United States. We're going to be like Sweden. We're going to be like, this crazy thing, and we're not going to be American anymore, and we're just going to have this tidal wave of people from south of the border that just come over, and they treat it like it's inevitable. Or they treat the jobs like those jobs aren't coming back. Well, they're not coming back. I better get used to being the greeter at Walmart. I better get used to being the guy flipping the burger at McDonald's. I may have gone to school for something, but doesn't matter. It's inevitable. That's like astrology crap. What, do they see it in the freaking stars? Do they think that borders and trade are not things that they vote on? Oh, that's right. They do. But they treat it like it's an inevitable thing, like outside of ourselves, and we just can't control it. It's just the way the world's going. That's fake. That's fake. There's no such thing as that. It is a rhetorical device to excuse the decisions that they do, and the decisions that they're making are entirely self-serving. Entirely. It's remarkable, in fact. No, in the comments, somebody brought up the fact that today we're going to see the Christmas star. Yeah. And by the way, I'm really grateful you brought that up. Yeah. See, doctor reacts to anti-maskers in the store. Are we going to watch this? Are we going to watch this? What the heck? What's this all about?
Take your mask off! Yeah, take it
off! I just can't believe it. I am so shocked. They walked by all those sale items.
Okay, so we're like watching this and we're expecting, I'm expecting him to be like, oh, look at these people. I can't believe them. They're causing all these problems. And he's like, I can't believe it. They're walking past all those sale items. Who is this guy, by the way, man? Who's this guy? We need to have this guy, and he's funny, man. That's a good one. That's a good one. All right, okay. I said that we're going to talk about this. And I don't want to go into great detail because, there are rumors that people are getting in trouble for talking about this story. You have the nurse. Recently, there was a certain thing that she took on television, and she passed out. She fainted. Now, she woke back up. A lot of people just shared that first part. They didn't talk about it afterward, where she describes a problem that she has. She has a specific name for it, by the way. She has a specific name for it. And, and so it's a condition. So she talks about it. But I'm seeing a lot of people going online, even people who I'm confident would support the show. I'm confident that they would agree with me on most things. But I want to deal with this because I think that we need to be careful. And I hope that this, in fact, doesn't get me in trouble. I'd be like, dude, I am not taking the position of the Lundberg crap. Not yet. Not yet, because I have a high bar of expectation regarding evidence. But there are rumors going all over the internet. And this is from a group called Logos is Rising on Telegram. The name of it is "This Channel Has Not Killed Itself," right, or something like that. And so, but the actual right, the name of the page is Logos is Rising. Claim, and this is the claim is them. The reply is me. Okay. So, and I want you to think when you hear this, or if you shared this, if you share this kind of thing, but they say rumors are flying all over the internet. The evidence is piling up. And I wrote rumors on the internet. Like, do these rightly qualify as evidence? If they say yes, I'll reductio ad absurdum. That's an autocorrect. Reductio ad absurdum you to death. And by the way, it means to reduce to absurdity. Because if that's true, why limit it to the internet? Why not the street corner? And say, look, man, there's a lot of rumors are flying. I heard it. I was on the street corner. And I saw this homeless guy out there with no teeth, sitting there going off about all sorts of crap, shadowboxing himself. Why not? And if you go, well, you can't trust that, say, well, then what is a rumor on the internet? What does that even mean? A rumor on the internet. And why would that qualify as evidence, by the way? Especially on something that's really big. On a big story. As a journalist, I would never, ever, ever move forward with the story if they were like, oh, here's a bunch of randos online. And here's what the rumors are. I'd be like, give me some kind of thing that I can, investigate. Because you're not just investigating so that you can talk about whatever you find. You're investigating to be able to analyze that and say, does this make sense? You could find stuff online, rumors online, basically defending anything. Rumors online defending anything. And it's like starting, rumor on the streets or, Twitter wasn't having it. Twitter said. What do you mean Twitter said? What do you mean by that? Rumor on the streets. Little birdies in my ear. I don't play that game, man. And you shouldn't either. Here's another claim. She's from Tennessee. No, but lives in Alabama? Reply, I said, why'd you leave out the detail about her age? Because what it was it's an image, and I won't even show it, but it's an image of a screenshot allegedly showing a family member talking about it and saying that this girl had passed away. And that they weren't going to come out with the details about the name, which is weird because she did. And it's all over the place. That would make no sense. But more than that, it said, here's a couple details about her. Well, if it's only for friends, why would you even put that? The friends would know. But the girl, according to the post, was 42 years old. So they took it out. They didn't add that to the claim. Why? Because that actually disproves it. That if that is a family member, how weird would it be for a family member to say that she's 42 years old when she's 30? And especially when you crop out the name of the alleged family member so you don't know who the person is. I said, that's dangerous crap, man. What's wrong with you guys? Then they did this. And please, guys, please don't do this. She collapsed 15 minutes after taking this Pfizer vaccine on television. And now her Instagram account is Tiffany Dover and it has not posted for 5 days. She generally posts every 2 to 3. Do you see what that is? It's actually they're trying to make the case that something weird happened. And then later we went to go look and she wasn't posting. Therefore, within the story of dead person, more likely or not that she died. That is some of the most garbled logic I've ever heard in my life. And it's post hoc ergo propter hoc. It happened after this, therefore it is because of that. It's kind of like, well, okay, I went outside and it was wet outside. And so I saw some clouds earlier that looked pretty weird. It was wet outside. It rained. And you go, what if it didn't rain? What if it was, kids playing with the sprinkler? You just automatically, and that's a mundane thing. I mean, it's not even an important matter. But you're saying that's the logic of this. Something happens after that, therefore, because of that. Makes no sense. And that's, by the way, that's the logical fallacy that was committed by that. That's 101 stuff, by the way. That's 101. That's not hard. Just because it happened after that doesn't mean that it's because of that. Yeah. Or that it's going to give you extra gravitas for the claim that you have yet to verify. Claim. There are social media posts about it from people who were allegedly connected to her or the family. I'm like, allegedly? Again, what are you talking about? Allegedly. Why would you even play that game, dude? It could be, look, maybe, hey, it could be possible. But I'm not going to go out there and do that. If for no other reason, look, when I was in journalism school, one of the most dangerous things you could possibly do, one of the absolute worst things, and this is why these people don't trust people who do this. They might be nice. They might have some fun commentary on stuff. But please, for the love of all things good and righteous and holy and true, do not base your ideas off of this. If somebody shares this with me and they're trying to get me to believe that, I'm going to karate chop you in the freaking neck. I'm going to karate chop you. Blah! Don't do it because one of the worst things that you could possibly do when you're reporting on news and investigating and everything else, if you're involved in the news industry at all, one of the absolute worst things that you could do would be to wrongfully say that someone had died. You lose jobs or you get sued, man. You can get sued. And so, I mean, if that's not the case and you say, what if she's sick? What if she's like, look, I've got crazy people coming from all directions. You know what kind of crazy emails I bet she's gotten? I hope I have to believe, not from people watching the show. I have to believe it. You let it play out. You let it play out. You find out, wait to see. There's this idea that we've all got some magic crystal ball and that, well, I think that this is what is really going on. And you're like, well, where'd you figure that out? Well, I've got a social media account. I've got some rando on here. I don't know his name, but he's a legend, blah, blah, blah. We don't do that. That's why, by the way, that's why people can trust this show. It sets us apart, by the way. And not just me, but you. We need to discourage people from doing this. And people say, yeah, but what if you're wrong? I would rather follow prudent, wise, just protocol on how to confirm stories and end up being wrong about something that was done than to sit there, especially of this not of immediate consequence, because most of us have suspicions anyway about some of this stuff. And we've already been told not to be surprised if we see this kind of thing happening. They already said it. But I would rather have followed that protocol and said, I'm not going to speculate, because at the end of the day, you can say, well, what if you were wrong? And I would say, that may happen from time to time. It does. I don't regret it one bit. Never. But I use when you were wrong and you speculated over and over and over. Because if you want to add that up, let's go ahead and add that up. Let's find out who's putting their face in the dog crap on the regular, where your predictions don't come true. And you've got to sit there and you've got to come up with something like, well, the reason why it didn't happen, like I said, was because I was bringing it to light and they changed their gear on it. You don't know that. You don't know that. Alex Jones even does that. He'll say something. I don't want to dog him, but he'll make something. He'll say something. And then when it doesn't come about, it's because he brought attention to it. It's like, well, dude, then you would never be able to verify it. Never. You'd never be able. That's an escape hatch. Don't you see? You're not putting yourself on the line when you've got an escape hatch all the time, where you can take credit for the things where you happen to have been right, and yet you escape and dodge the bullet every time for the bazillion times you're wrong. I put myself on the line for that stuff, man. And I don't blame phantoms. I don't blame ghosts. I don't sit there and say, well, you know, it's they were watching and they changed their mind, or, well, you know, I'm not going to blame anybody for that. If it's something that I've done, I've at least followed the most reliable way of coming to information that's accurate and true. And that way, I don't ever want to be the source that people are sharing all over the place that's misleading people. I get it all the time. People send me messages all the time with, and you know, a lot of people, we'll talk about someday, talk about the situation where individuals are like, you know, well, you know, if Trump wants you to share this right now, and you need to share it with a lot of people, or man, this was taken down, and all this, and people, they're naive about it, and they go, well, I better share it because the more we get it out, and that's good, but it's like a chain letter. You can just simply say, dude, it's being censored like crazy. I was told by the powers that be today. I was told by my boy. He said, look, sites have been taken down. They've been censored. I said, who said it? I don't know. Don't tell me that then. Don't tell me that then. Because people can say whatever they want. They can say, well, my show is, these videos are taken down, or my channel was removed because of this. Oh, let me see what it says. Let me go and see if is your video anywhere else. If it isn't, you obviously weren't doing good anyway. You're not very forward thinking. We're a claim. And by the way, allegedly, they don't let us know who's making the claims. Another claim. There are reports of threats against her family for sharing the info. I said, who's reporting that? Nobody. There's no link to that. Just spooky and scary. Just, we're doing the right thing. Claim. There are reports of censorship. Again, who's reporting that? Maybe more specifically, what do you think rightly qualifies as reporting? Claim. The debunkers, talking about people like me, by the way, the debunkers are saying it's false, but are providing very little evidence. Doesn't that sound cute? How many people do you know would actually hear that and be like, well, you know, Jeremiah, you're not really proving a lot of evidence. Here's why. Because I don't have to. I don't have to. I'm not the one making the affirmative case. They've got the burden to prove. And we all know that's true. If for no other reason, if you don't understand what that means when I say that, Kavanaugh should not have had to defend himself in that case. Kavanaugh should not have had to defend himself because he's presumed innocent until he's proven guilty. If you're making the affirmative, you're saying you did this, you need to have and to reach a certain burden. It's on you. You have a burden to provide information. Otherwise, anybody could say, that person raped me. And say, well, you didn't prove you didn't rape me. That's like, did you stop beating your wife? Well, can you prove you have stopped beating your wife? I never started. Oh, that's an excuse. That's not proof. That's not how it works. If you make a claim, and your claim is an affirmative claim, you have a burden upon you to provide evidence and proof. You don't tell the person who says, well, you know what, you're not making much sense of that. You're not providing anything that's going to convince me of that. They're like, well, provide evidence that there's no thing going on. I don't have to. I don't have to. You don't even, people who talk that way, and it sounds, look at that. The debunkers are saying it's false, but they're providing very little evidence. Again, sounds fancy pants, but it's actually quite ignorant. Logos is not rising over there, by the way. Logos is not rising over there. You got the burden of proof all sorts of bass backwards. For the record, I'm not saying it isn't true or that it isn't possible, but I am saying that this kind of reporting and investigating is no different from the fake news outlets that rely on, according to Twitter, anonymous sources and rumors. We should, can, and must do better. We must. We must. Oh, and then look at this. CHI Memorial gives an update about it. Appreciates concern. What would I do in a situation like that? You know, there's a lot of families, man. They don't even know what's coming for them. They don't know what it's like to go viral on a global scale on an issue where you're literally dealing with people who've been subjected for years to psyops and color revolutions. What do you deal with that? Imagine the kind of wicked. Imagine the fear, probably looking out the window. They have no idea. They have no idea, man. Speaking of people who have no idea, we're almost over here. Andrew Yang says, tough to have mass gatherings like concerts or ball games without either mass adoption of the vaccine or means of signaling. He's talking about, I've been tested at a photo shoot or interviewing and gotten a bracelet showing I was negative. Then we could interact more freely. Again, it's kind of weird talking about that. But he brings this up. Is there any way, let me zoom in. Is there any way for someone to easily show that they have had that, like, you know, a barcode that they can download to their phone? There ought to be. Woo, boy. Whoa, buddy. Whoa, buddy. You know, this is the kind of stuff that actually makes me, I mentioned this about the WWW thing too. You know, the people early on, they were like, well, that's like the mark of the beast. You know, it's the 666 thing, Vav, 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 in the Hebraic numerology. Saying that's 666, World Wide Web. And I used to say, well, that's crazy. I wasn't forward thinking. Say now they can make it in such that it's like, dude, it could literally ruin your life. If we go the way of the panopticon, not just a panopticon, but treating it like a social credit score, which we're seeing more and more of all the time. If that's the case, controlling what you can say, think, and do, and punishing you, not only for what you may do that is naughty online, but, and of course, they're not talking porn or hookups or adultery. They're not talking anything about that. They're saying, you have the wrong thoughts. You have the wrong thoughts. You have thoughts that were around before the Marxist social justice warrior revolution. And you know, like examples like this. Examples like this. Okay. December 16th. Right here. Literally the exact same video, but Twitter doesn't fact check liberal accounts when they post it. So, for example, Aaron Rupar says the election in many ways was stolen, talking about Rand Paul. And he says the Rand Paul lies, citing no evidence. There's no little check down there. You can't really see. Jack Posobiec says Rand Paul, the fraud happened. The election, in many ways, was, in fact, taken. And at the bottom, this claim about election fraud is disputed. Again, they're only doing it in one direction. We've shown this a bazillion times. We can see the kind of violence that's being done like this, for example, and know it's coming. And this is on a surveillance camera. So you've got a woman lights a fire, puts it in. There you go. There she is. Antifa chick. There we go. Walks on in, sets it up, throws it back there. More newspapers. Let's burn that bugger. Let's burn that bugger. And this is over at Rio's Ribs. Bwam. There you go. There you go. Violence being done. So not just the way that we're being manipulated with media, but also the way that violence is being done. How about this one? This is the world that's coming toward us. And this is why we got to be the best we can. This is why, and we should anyway. That's how we honor God. But at the same time, you know, look at the world that's coming. Medical journal, birth certificates, sex designations are harmful for transgender people. This is the New England Journal of Medicine, saying that we need to move beyond that. It's harmful. It's time to update the practice of designating sex on birth certificates. And why? Because they say that 6 out of 1,000 people identify as transgender, aligning with social expectations for their assigned sex. And you go, it's funny that they add the word assigned. Do you think that anybody is looking at their birth certificate and saying, because a doctor said on a piece of paper that you're a dude, you think that's why we have expectations for that? That's pretty haughty. You guys really think you're special. Are you freaking kidding? Do you think that we sit there and say, well, Are we sure that the doctor is, you think that if you take it off of that piece of paper and you don't recognize, that little Jimmy's doodle means that he's a boy and he doesn't have intersex issues, right? So he's not genetically in this way, but you're talking video game of the brain. By the way, they talk about that, They talk about that. The video game of the brain, because it's what it is. And you say, do you think that if you stopped and you said, well, yeah, he's got a wiener, he doesn't have any intersex problems, but we're not going to say he's a boy. You think that the world around him is going to stop talking that way or thinking that way? These people are stupid, man. I mean, this person who wrote this is literally a dummy. I don't even know what to tell you about this. Oh, but apparently, the writer, a professor of medical science, Adachi is a member of the National Academy of Medicine and a former advisor to the World Health Organization. Wow, it's great. That's special. The World Bank. Wow, okay. The Rockefeller Foundation. What the heck? The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Wow, dude. Yeah, this person's real cuckoo in the brain. Cuckoo in the cranium. What a wacko. What a stinking wacko. Yeah, look at this. Saying you're not attracted to trans people is transphobic because there's no way of telling who's trans or not. Now, without telling them telling you, you probably had many crushes on trans people without knowing it. Again, do you think that society is going to look at that and say, bro over there with the chin of Superman, with the male pattern baldness like this cat, or, well, him. Do you think for a second that people are going to go, well, it doesn't say it on his birth certificate? We're all going to know why. We're all going to know who made that decision. Sit on Satan's lap. New Mexico fundraiser draws ire. Ah. How about this one? Netflix, praise Satan. They had this on, what was it, Instagram? Where was this? Instagram? No, this one was on Telegram, I think. Yeah. And so they had it. There was so much outcry, which is, by the way, a good sign. It's a good sign. But the thing is, at the same time, it's a dreadful sign. We're seeing an arms race of the good and the bad. We're seeing it reach a place where the good are calling evil evil and the evil are calling good evil. And so both of them believe they're evil. And we need to stop focusing so much attention on this policy example, that policy example, this policy example. We're now in the world of system analysis. We're looking at paradigm matters here. Civilizational crises. These civilizational crises are not, well, there's this little tweak, this little policy over here. It's a paradigm change. It's a paradigm shift. And you need to become familiar with it. We all do. Because that's where the war is being fought right now. We're being distracted by ridiculous crap. We're being distracted by ridiculous crap. Even stuff like this. You say it's bigger than this. It's bigger than, it's easy to see this right here. Pink News, they're 12, gender queer, and already made history. Perversion. It's a deeper topic than this. Your credit score should be based on your web history, IMF says. But again, here we go. This is the direction we're going. Look at how all-encompassing it is. Look at how all-encompassing. No, I'm not even going to look at that. You got people, of course, the transmat, I'm so sorry, hazmat suits. You got the crazy people who've lost their mind. People, because we've been unable and unwilling to engage on a paradigm level about the civilizational crisis that we're enduring, and we're getting distracted by all these things, and we haven't done a sufficient job, or even a good job at all, in defending it. Thinking that we could make peace with the world, that we can just do little bits of changes here, little bits of changes here. Oh, the ones over there. And that would be fine. They'll treat us okay. We'll do a little tweak of the Bible over here. We'll do a little tweak of tradition over here. We're going to go ahead and manipulate that and play Mr. Potato Head. We're going to do that because the world likes us if we do. No, they don't. The whole game is to get rid of you. All right. In the end, I'm not afraid to die. I used this before and I'm using it again. I'm not afraid to die. I'm afraid to live on my knees in a world run by lesser men who control the destiny of my children. Add women to it, man. Add women to it. Because it's true, because we're seeing a rising up of people of tradition, a rising up of people of that old time religion that realize that insofar as we deviate from those standards to that extent, we are going to become enslaved and eventually eradicated by a world that absolutely loathes us. It's the opposite of everything we believe in, and it's the opposite of everything we should do. You can't do it anymore. In fact, we won't do it anymore. People on the show, we don't do it, do we? We don't play that game, do we? We stay close to that standard, raising it high. It's our battle cry. All right. We're going to do a couple comments, and then we're out of here, guys. And then we are out of here. Yeah, I'm going to skip right over all of you guys talking about the mullet coming back and that it's great. I don't think so. I don't think so, dude. No. Ticked off Yenzer says plants are mainly man-made and are all plant sugars. I was vegan for 8 years. I lost all my teeth and had 2 surgeries that never healed. It's the diet of the devil. You know, and it is, look, I know people, their skin was just terrible. Their hair was terrible. Some people say veganism is a first world luxury. I know, but there are third world countries, man, where that's what they do. But they also are the ones who are basically begging for food. Squirrel 8811, people who've done keto wrong do not work on getting omega-3 fats, and they eat too much omega-6. I agree with that, by the way. Yeah, not good. You need to be better about the, oh gosh, man, about the different oils too. Yep. Ticked off Yinzer says, read the book of Paul. I have no idea. What do you mean by book of Paul? Rachel, oh my gosh, yes, okay. Rachel, it is good to see you. She says, hi, it's Monday already. Yes, it is. Yes, it is here. Let's see here. CF says, that's awesome, talking about the December 23rd, the event. We showed the commercial twice today. It's fantastic. So it's a commercial for when the Gretsch stole Christmas, the people took it back. It is a parade. There's a whole bunch of amazing stuff going on. Santa, elves, singing, caroling, music, live nativity. It's going to be an awesome, awesome time. You're not going to want to miss it. So if you're in Michigan and you want to be part of that, you got to do it. CF says Lizzie missed the mark. Pity she didn't get introduced to Catholic tradition. Yeah, there's a lot of cheese and bacon, dude. A lot of cheese and bacon, man. I don't even know how you can really be a Catholic if you're not doing that. You know, unless you took some kind of orders or whatever. I don't know. I don't know about that. Let's see. It's okay to be vegan for right reasons. Jim says that. It's okay not to be vegan. I'm not. Everything does not have to be tribal. I agree. That's what I was saying too. That if you want to be vegan, that's fine. But if you believe that it's like the inevitable consequence of scripture and tradition, or papal writings, or it's the only way to be moral and stuff like that, obviously I'm going to reject that. Yeah. Water, wine, blood. Christ eternal, within body, drink water. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so drink water. Well, water and wine. Water and wine. Got to do it. Let's see here. Jim Murphy, Chuck Misler of Calvary Chapel was a big alarmist of Y2K. Looked on his website this morning of January 1st, 2000 after no meltdown. Didn't see an apology. Of course not. Because those people got to keep rolling, dude. They got to keep rolling. Look, you make a lot of money when you freak everybody out. When you freak the elderly out and the elderly are like, oh crap, this guy's got a magic crystal ball. He's talking truth to me, which it's a messed up way of tickling ears, just to let you know. It's a weird way of tickling ears because our people, right? Our civilization, our species, we have this weird kind of almost apocalyptic kink. You know, it says that we like watching scary movies that are talking about the end of the world. Oh my gosh, look at this. And it plays right into it. It actually tickles the fancy. It doesn't always tickle ears to tell everybody that everything's going to be fine. Not to be too abrasive, but the relationship between Trump and his supporters is like that of an abrasive husband and a battered wife. It's very exploitative and one-sided. I don't know if I'd agree entirely with that, but at the same time, you know, there are people that, you know, they get knocked around. Decisions that he's made, you know, Kushner, for example, I think he's one of the worst decisions that was made. I think that having some of the people involved with the military-industrial complex, I think that was particularly heinous, and that we were kind of dogged. I think we were not treated rightly. Let's put it this way. And I think that there's a lot of things, a lot of examples that you could say with that. And if there are people who are like, you know, Trump right or wrong, where it's kind of this an idolizing of a man, that's obviously wrong. You have to be able to say what you agree and disagree with. And I've always done that. And I found it's one of the most effectual ways to not only support a person, but to support a movement that's bigger than that person. And if you can't do that, well, you know what? You're an idol worshiper. And if you're an idol worshiper, when that idol ends up going away, and it ends up falling to pieces and everything else, you're going to be like, oh, crap, what am I going to do now? You're going to be on to the next idol. Don't do it. Crush idols, man. Destroy them. Let's see. He will send his supporters to fight in battles and does nothing when they get hurt or even killed. That's one of the things that actually upsets me. You know, people getting beat like crazy. And yet at the same time, I mean, you look at the way that he's talked about. It's one of the things, yeah. Apparently, police came to our door about an hour ago. They asked if anyone saw anything and if our camera caught anything, which it did not. Teresa thinks she saw the car, and I remember hearing shots. And a car pressed on the gas. Talking about we had an actual situation on our block. We had a drive-by on our block today. We had a drive-by on our block. We're going to be talking to the police, actually. And this has become a big deal for me. It's never been close to home. It's never been something in my neighborhood, but I've watched as Grand Rapids has deteriorated. And I've watched as people have given concession after concession to cultic Black Lives Matter activists and Marxist activists involved with different so-called phony social justice groups, and that these groups have made it such that the kind of masochistic and sadistic manipulation that is done on this city has been dramatic. It's been dramatic. And it's leaving people helpless. And we're seeing an increase so badly that that's the second time since the lockdown where police have come around the area because there were problems and shootings, not in our block. We've never had anything like that. We had one crime. We had one that happened on our block, and it was a teenage kid breaking into a neighbor's house when he's at work. So this is something that's I've never seen anything like it before. Not like this. What if the $17 million congressional slush fund that got the comedian thrown out, but nothing since? I don't know. I don't know what exactly that's about. And got the comedian thrown out. What are you talking about? Are you talking what's his name? What's his name, man? Oh my gosh, that's gonna kill me. Yeah, he was on Saturday Night Live, right? Yeah. Clay says the internet and social media is not real. People are real. When we get back to getting to know each other again, we need to do that. The world's problems will simply melt away. Well, some of the problems that are created because of the phoniness that we've got with this. He says until then you sit in the nest, right? You got to do it. You got to do it. You know, but you got to get out too. You got to actually meet those people. You got to meet them. You got to show them the better way. You got to show them, look, man, I want to meet you face to face. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to see you on social media. And that's one of those things, man, when people tell me, well, I said it on Facebook. I'm like, I don't care. Don't be mad at me if I didn't see it, if I'm not mad at you for not calling me. That's not a phone, because you're not calling me and saying, I ate some cereal today. You're not calling me for that crap, but you are posting it. I don't care. Like, you're not calling me to tell me that you think you look good looking in a mirror when you got a toilet or a trash bin behind you, taking a selfie in a restroom. You're not calling to tell me that, but you are posting that crap. I don't need to know that. You might not even be calling me because your political or religious views. You might be calling me for other reasons. But yet you post all that stuff. Maybe I'm just not interested in all that. Or throwing myself into a world where I've got a bazillion different posts from a bazillion different people on a bazillion different topics, most of which I have zero care or interest in getting to familiarize myself with. It's kind of simple. Hassan said, scary Angela, glad all are safe. Oh, totally, by the way. It's startling, in fact. Will Baker said, just started cracking up as I sounded like Mr. T. Did I really? See, I got to do that stuff on purpose. Maybe I need to practice it. You want to hear me say, I pity the fool who reports a premature death. Okay, man, I got you. Carlos says, thank you for addressing this. Dude, you're welcome, Carlos. You're welcome, dude. Because you got to be able, you have to be able to talk about it. You know? Ms. Han, the patent for Luciferasis 6666. By the way, I want to talk about stuff like that. We need to get you on the show too, by the way, to talk about some of this stuff. Maybe even on other channels, because otherwise there might be no more Paleocrat Diaries if we get too deep into that. But we got to, and you're on the front line. I know, you're an amazing woman, and you're on the front lines of this, inspirational to tons of people, like a real life changing woman. Yeah, we gotta have you on. Oh my gosh, no. What the heck is this? Somebody's calling me. Why? Can you guys hear that? Oh, hold on. I apologize. And whoever that is that's calling me, they better stinking apologize. They're obviously not watching the show. Stinking jerks, dude. Let's see here. Jeremiah, I'll be praying for you. This is the end of it. And kids, family, if you guys want to come down, come on down now. Because we're wrapping up. Jeremiah, I'll be praying for you and your family because of the recent events in your neighborhood. Godspeed. I appreciate that, James. I appreciate that very, 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 very much. Let's see here. Barbara says, thank you for your show. Thank you for your time. Calling it a day. I'm sad about your drive-by. Very concerning. Keep us posted. Be safe. See all you tomorrow. Yes. And Cherie shows up, says, hello, Wolfpack. We're going bye-bye, Cherie. It's over. It's over. We're done. We're through. The kids are coming down. They're coming down right now. We're gonna switch it over. We're gonna do the amazing thing at the end where we all salute and everything else. But when it's over, you're able to go back. And when you can go back, you can watch the whole show. It is quite great, let me tell you. It's an amazing show. It always is, to be very honest with you. It is. What's up, dude? Oh, little Louie! What's up, bro? Yes, man. Okay, I got to get over to the main here. No. Yeah, this is the main, but it was the wrong thing. Yeah. Where's little Louie? Get over here, man. Get over here, little bro. Oh, man. Uh-oh. Here, put this over here. I got to sit him down on my lap. Because he likes sitting on my lap. Oh, man. Look at this. Oh, little Louie. Oh, you got little Wolf. Where's Mama? Oh, Mama's coming down. We got the whole crew. We got the whole gang. Dude, look over there. Check it out. Look right there. Look. There you are, dude. Yeah, man. Yes. Here, you got to turn Wolfgang. You got to turn him around. Oh, wait till Mama gets down here. Show him. Because she gets him right up here, too, man. She gets him right up here. We got to get it. Because remember, 100% of the donations that go to the show go toward the continued education of my children. And as you can see, I got 3 of them behind me that are in school and 2 that will be in school within a couple years. And so every single thing that we make, we're pushing as hard as we can. If you, what's that? Where's his face? Ah, yeah. Hold on. I'll scooch over. Here we go. Look at little Wolf.
There's Teresa.
Look at little Woofy. There's Teresa. She's way back there, man. So we got the whole gang here, okay? So you guys got to wave here, okay? You got to wave. Here we go. Split screen. And there we are. We're grateful. We're grateful for all of you. Make sure to check out PaleocratDiaries.com. If you'd like me to do some interviews, tell me who you want me to interview. We'll have people on all across the spectrum. I'd love it. Speeches, same thing. Invite us. You can do all that by going to PaleocratDiaries.com. And of course, if you want to connect with us in a more intimate way, if you're somebody who's never taken a knee for Jesus Christ, or maybe you did, and it's been a very long time, or you'd like to get more involved with political stuff and religious stuff, cultural engagement, the crisis of civilization and the fight to preserve these things, not just to preserve them, but advance them, email us, paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. Of course, check out my work at Paleo Cheese Podcast. We're going to start going live around the new year. So it's going to be a really, really, really good time. So you got to go check that out, Paleo Cheese Podcast, as well as Meaning of Catholic. We're going to have Tim Flanders on in the very near future. So until next time, as we always say, never give up, keep on smiling, and memento mori. Yeah, dude. You rock, Louie. If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot, right?
Mind control.
So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off. The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage. Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge and maybe a funeral procession.